What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, June 3rd to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. We're running hot. We're running hot, and it feels so good. The losses hurt so badly. We need to enjoy the victories, and they are coming fast. Another huge day. So, over the last 2 days, we're 14-4. Is across all sports. Doesn't really tell the whole story. 14-4 plus 10.03 units. The whole story is all about MLB. Although we had a great bounce back in NHL that was very well capped. Gokster cashed his no goal in the first 10 minutes plus 195. The Avalanche -1 and the first period under 2 were as easy as wins have been all year. Just no sweat. Just very sit back, relax, and watch the cash come in. But it's MLB. It's MLB, and MLB's been such a battle, and I got off to a terrible start. 16-27. I was down 14 units. And that wasn't even my low watermark. I built back a little bit, and then I fell even deeper, down 16.5 units. So we're on a 12-1 run over the last 2 days, up 11.23 units. So this was the first morning of the entire baseball season that I woke up in the black in baseball. And it feels so goddamn good. And who do I thank? The Toronto Blue Jays. And who else do I thank? The Big Ragu for sending me a little care package with this spring training Blue Jay hat. Man, it is too dope. Too dope. Thank you, Big Ragu. You're a great friend. So it's been a battle, and now we're at 97 wins, 89 losses, 52.2% plus 0.63 units, ROI 0.34%, average line -106. Look, gambling is tough. Capping's a cruel mistress, and I'm pretty excited that I've built back. And other people might sit there at this point in the year with that record up 0.63 units and be upset. I can understand that. But after the start I had, it feels really good. And now I need to climb higher. So I'm really excited. And I thank you guys. I thank us working together. And it just feels like such a team effort. I fucking love it. Just love it. I love it so much. Our NHL record after the easy wins last night improved to 21-12 in the playoffs, 63.6% plus 10.31 units, ROI plus 31.24%, average line plus 104. And we had a loser in NBA. We went 8-2 across all sports last night, 6-1 and 5.14 units in MLB, 2-0, 2.04 units in NHL, and in NBA, 0-1, 1.10 units, and lost on the Warriors. And that fourth quarter was harsh and fast and showed the toughness of the Celtics for just not wavering and just knowing that they could step it up in a huge fourth quarter in San Francisco. I have made a bet on game 2 on the total. And I've stayed away from totals for a lot of the playoffs, but this one's screaming at me. So I'll let you guys know I'm on the under 215.5. The pace was slow. It was 93.7 possessions each last night. And Celtics had to shoot over 50% from 3. And the Warriors shot like 45% from 3. I don't expect them to shoot like that again. They should regress to the mean, and we should cash the under unless it goes to overtime, which made me think maybe I should jump on the first half under as well, which is not completely out of the realm, doubling up in this spot, but I wanted to talk it out with you guys first. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. It is great to see all of you. Am I on? Damn, sorry about my sound. Check. Sorry about my sound. Thank you for catching that, Jose. Sound fixed. I apologize for that. We're back on the Blue Yeti mic. Viper MB announces Warriors disgrace. A raise first 5 -1/2. I think that's I think that's the best bet on the board. Like the first 5 -1/2 -130. I'm on it as well. That's probably the best bet on the entire board, in my estimation. Vipers on the Twins over 9.5, which I get. I'm just on the Jays, and also I'm kind of dipping into the Pistol Pete Loshak Ant L school of MLB capping. This is the biggest line I think I've ever taken. on a single bet in my life. -1, it's minus. I got -171. I could have got -168 if I waited, but I decided that I don't want my winning streak on the Jays to stop if the Jays win a 1-run game. So I just added $50 to the bet, made it a $200 bet instead of $150. Still won't pay very much, but I just don't want to lose the streak if they win by 1 run. So we'll see if this blows up in my face. So he's also on Diamondbacks first 5 money line. I think that's an interesting bet I want to talk about. He's on Braves -1, the Red Sox -1. Our guy Viper and B in the house. Fat win. Best bet today. San Francisco run line at +107. Says can see Cobb getting into a good rhythm and pounding that strike zone. I found that a very interesting game that I didn't move on at this point, but I did find it interesting. There's a nuke worker in the house. Thank you for the kind words. Saturated, ready to get to work. Saturated said, murdered the NHL, murdered MLB, but got dick punched squarely by the NBA. That happens. Capping keeps you on your feet, man. There's always one sport that's going to stab you in the larynx. Ron Crawford in the house. Great to see you, Ron Crawford. Started the spreadsheet play of the day. Leonard Porsche Jr. Saturated thanking Goji for all 3 NHL plays. Gokster only moved on to 1 play. The first 10 minutes +195. The other 2 spots were mine, but we cashed very easily altogether. There's Leonard Porsche ready to get to work. North Ender in the spreadsheet play of the day in MLB is in. It is in, and it is on the Bo Sox. Let's take a look at the spot. Bo Sox. I got them. They're -160 available for me. I've not moved on them. Ron Crawford is on the Boston Red Sox spreadsheet play of the day. Let me just move this over here and get it locked and loaded for our breakdown. We have Bobano joining the show. Very excited to work with him. He's coming off a great day. He's been so good on this show. Just so good on this show. He's coming off a 7-3 day with 2 pushes. 7 wins, 3 losses, 2 pushes, plus 3.43 units in MLB. And he started the year 1-9 in MLB. And now he's nice and healthy in the black, which is so impressive. And he's been very good in the NHL as well. So I can't wait to do all that. North Anderson's great night on the ice last night. Let's keep rolling. Walla Walla Dose. The Narrow says shout out to my Tigers, another glorious club. My only loss was on the Tigers' first 5, but that 2-run home run by Daz Cameron, I was like, feels like it's going to be a day. And then the Milwaukee Brewers scoring 4 runs in the 9th inning with that horrific lineup. I don't know when I was looking at the numbers versus righties, I'm like, how are they hitting well versus righties? There's no difference between the cleanup hitter and the 9th hitter. They're all hitting 220 with no power. But they came through. They came through. Newcork says 14-4. Very, very impressive. Thank you. Newcork has been very good. Billy Freeze says, horrible night last night for me. Damn. Took it in the old man cave. Don't like hearing that, Billy Friedrich, but we'll get back in action. Saturated says, how about that Millie rally and walk-off Milwaukee? Sometimes when you're running nice, I think these things just kind of bounce in your favor. It felt very good. There's Puzzler in the house. Benny Pennybomb, Series Business, Lee Davis. My guy Lee Davis had my back since I started. And I'm very thankful. Very thankful for your support, Lee, my guy. Razor Sharp Picks in the house. Today's the day to win some money. Don't forget, big cash at Fridays with Razor Sharp Picks right here on Pub Sports Radio. And there's stakes races at Penn tonight. It's going to be a wild show. Slatsy says, back in the black. I mean, really, Slatsy, it's the first morning of the entire baseball season. I've woken up in the black. I lost the first day. Oh, no, I didn't. You're right. I went 3-2 on the first 2 days of the year. I went 3-2. Seems like a long time ago. There's Dabby Cab in the house. What up, Dabby Cab? And Razor has locked in $200 on the Cubs money line at -107. I'm going to copy and paste that and get that right over the Cubs spot. I did take a long look at that Cubbies spot. Let's get up to it right now. Sorry, that is the afternoon action against the Cardinals. Michaelis hasn't been very good. Stroman has been much better. I took a long look at that. Elliot V says Mets under, Red Sox -1.5, Cards money line, and the Rangers under. I will copy and paste that. Saturated says woke up ill thinking about the Warriors collapse. Isn't it wild in NBA how fast it happens? It just happens so fast. a 15-point lead disappears in like what feels like the equivalent of like 2 or 3 minutes. It just happens so fast. It's just like, being in an accident sort of thing. Spenny Penny Bombs took Boston to win series 4-2 and 4-3 before game one. Had Tatum for double-double last night. But he says, though, Edmonton just disappointing. Yeah, they're not that good of a hockey team. So they're playing a very good hockey team. So it was wonderful to watch the capping play out the way I was hoping for it. Julian Stewart in the house. Great to see you, Julian. Dommy Gun. Rodney Barton. Saturated says Cubs -1.5 with some juice cash. Fireside says Oilers get shut out. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they goddamn did. Felt good. Ayash Yala. Now, look, I grew up a Canucks fan. The Oilers would come in and destroy us. 7-2, 9-2, 8-1. So I've built up this hatred for the Oilers and the Flames and every other Canadian hockey team. So I don't care. I don't want another Canadian hockey team to win the Stanley Cup. I only want the Canucks to win the Stanley Cup. So if that means we have to go 100 years without winning a Stanley Cup, let's go 100 years without Stanley Cup. I hate all these fucking teams. They don't know pain. They don't know how hard it is to be a hockey fan. Well, maybe the Leafs fans do. Okay. Spenny says, does Vasi keep his streak alive and bounce back games after a loss? Look, I went right back to the well, and we're going to talk about that here very, very soon because we have the great Bobano ready to rock and roll. Dabby Cab is on team totals. I'm going to copy and paste this, but we've got a lot of work to do, so let's get after it right now. Let me copy and paste that right there. James S. Real Deal Prime. Jedi for Life. Great to see you, Jedi for Life. Says, been tailing the Jays with you. It's been very easy. It's been very easy. The only regret I have now is, 8 days ago or 9 days ago, whatever it was, to start. I have now moved it up to 200 on the -1 lines, but I wish I had started it at 200 or something more. Had a little more confidence in all of this. And look at that. Ron Crawford has 27-6 first 5 play on Tampa as well. I think it's the easiest spot on the whole card. Elliot V liking the Jays as well. Chichi Gonzalez pitching for the Twins against the Blue Jays. Yeah, Chichi back in action. He's been very good in AAA for St. Paul, and I like that. He's not that old. He's been around the game for so long. We think he's old, but he's only 30 years old, and it's nice to see. I cheer for those guys to get back in the show. Saturated though on Toronto -2.5 plus 145. And Elliot V says San Francisco has to show me something. Until then, I'm fading them. Well, I did jump on the under season total, so I'm hoping them. EY says, loving the cat to me. Yes, Big Ragu hooked me up, and I love it too. Dommy Gun, 14.5 units last week. I love it, Dommy Gun. Spenny said, hard not to back the Lightning and Bassy off a loss. That in general, but 18-0 playoff. Don't know how I can get away from it. I'm not going to get away from it. I'm just going to bet it. And Rodney Barton says, I'm seeing Celtics to win the final at -190 now. Wow. Coin put Tampa Bay money line -125 in his pocket tonight. I took him on the -1 line at +130. And there he is, the Big Ragu in the house. That was a great gift, a great package. Put a huge smile on my face. Thank you, man. Thank you, Doc. All right. Lucas Ryan says, I found myself down 500 for the first time in my career. Do I pay up and quit or battle back with smaller units? Well, I would pay up and get back at it. Yeah, get to zero. You'll feel more comfortable there. If you want to take a couple days off, take a couple days off. Take the weekend off. That's how I would do it. I would just pay it off, get it back to zero. Maybe if you need a couple days to clear your head, do it. And then start attacking again. If you want to, I don't know what your unit size is, but just make sure that you're betting appropriate to your bankroll. And look, capping is tough. You just got to keep learning, keep improving. Todd Hilton ready to get to work. Okay, we have a great group. Big Ragu says all in on the Lightning. I love it. And Nasty Nate up 15 units yesterday. I love it. Slatsy says have a big future on the Bolts with Jimmy, which caused some concern. Small future on the Avs, which was the other way around. I've got the same on both. I got the same amount of money on both. And Dommy Gun says you chase that 500, it'll be 1,000 quick. And Nasty Nate Celtics win all plus 350. I love it. Max Play says, yeah, I was down, man. He says up 22 units in the last 2 days from Max Play. He says, take a break and refresh. I think that's the best way to do it. And what's the Razor saying? I missed that. Oh, with the Cubbies. Okay. Mike M says Jose's Top Gun post video was good stuff. It was. LJ from H-Town in the house. Noli knows. Yes, Noli knows. In the black for the first time since the second day of the year. Mississippi, a whisper ready to go. Dennis Garcia says Colorado unders were gold yesterday. One more Colorado win to put me in a magical spot. I don't even know if I'm going to bother betting this game 3. Feel really good. And Domigan says nothing wrong betting $25 a unit. Get your stride back. Absolutely. Yes, Real Deal Prime. I believe Turnsey, our good friend Turnsey, is going to be heavy on the Rangers here this evening. Okay, it is time to go Real Deal Prime on the Washington Mystics. We have a best bet coming in from Teece, as he will have his show, because there's 4 games today in WNBA. So he'll have a show at 4 p.m. Eastern. His debut was excellent yesterday. But let's bring on a great friend of all of ours, a spectacular capper. Let me tell you a little bit about this capper. He got his MLB season started here 1-9, and it's tough. It's tough to start like that. Trust me, I know. And since then, he is 31-18. 31 wins and 18 losses. Overall on the year, he's 32-27, hitting at 54.2% plus 3.22 units with an ROI plus 5.46%, average line minus 104. And he's a volume better. So he gave us 12 bets in MLB last Friday. He pushed 2 of them, but on the other 10, 7-3 plus 3.42 units. In NHL, he has had one show with Pistol Pete Loshak that was not successful. But with me, the man cashes and cashes and cashes. We were on opposite sides of each other last out, and he's dipped a little bit in NHL. 38 wins, 25 losses at 60.3% plus 15.66 units, ROI plus 24.86%, average line plus 113. And that number, 60%, is what I'm going to grill into Bobano. I really, really want him to finish the year off above 60%. And I know he only started with us on February 19th, but still, it would be extremely impressive if he could do that. Please welcome to the show from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada's Steel Town, Canada's black and yellow, Bobano in the house. Ian, how are you, my man?
It's a good thing I wasn't on yesterday's show, or it would be below 60% going into today. That's for damn sure. How are you, NHL? How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, yesterday was wonderful for us, but we needed to bounce back. Gokster and I. Gokster cashed that first 10 minutes, no goal, plus 195. I cashed the first period under 2, plus 104, and the Avalanche -1 at minus 120. So feel good and can't wait to break down this game, because this game got me. This game got me badly in game 1. And a lot of the chat was bang on backing the Rangers. And I love that they cashed. And I am now hammering the Lightning on the -1 line. I got plus 130 on the -1 line. And I also went back to the under 5.5, because if you expect the Lightning to win, you expect an under. And if you expect the Rangers to win, you probably expect an over. And so I am on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's break it down with our man Bobano, and excellent work this year with us, Bobano. I just so impressed your bounce back in MLB, and we all thank you for your hard work and the winners that you've been sharing with us.
I appreciate that. Yep, it's there's a reason I've lasted 10 years, and it's being able to withstand bad runs and not getting down on yourself, and being able to just keep the work going day in and day out. And if you put in the work, you put in the time, you put in the effort. Sometimes when you're struggling at something, you stop putting in the time, you stop putting in the effort, and that's when things continue to snowball and get worse. You can't think that way. You clean the slate and you bounce and you get back and do the business the next day. That's always been the approach, especially through the bad times. And that's why we're able to have a turnaround like we've had in MLB. That's for sure.
And I know all about that turnaround. I was down 14 units after 43 games. I was down 16.5 units a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. But we're on a 12-1 run in MLB. And this morning is after the second day of the season. I was in the black, and since then I've been in the red, and now I'm back in the black. So feels good. And it's an important message for all of us to hear. Let's get to work here in NHL. Bobano, Tampa Bay Lightning at the New York Rangers. We're in game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final. Vasilevsky got slapped in the face. He allowed double the goals in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final as he did in the entire divisional final against the Panthers. 3 goals he allowed in that whole series. 6 goals. I guess was there an empty netter? I can't even remember now. I was in such sadness there. So maybe he didn't allow full.
There was not. There
There
was
was not.
not.
It was all okay.
No.
It was all okay. So he did allow the double. In the playoffs, still 8-4-0, 2.53 goals against average, 923 save percentage, one shutout. Shesty, 9-5-0, 2.64 goals against average, 929 save percentage. And he loves this opportunity to go up against Vasilevsky. Again, this isn't the kid against his mentor. They have a 2-year age difference. It's just that Vazzy has been in the NHL for 8 seasons. For the Lightning, regular season power play 23.9%, 21.6% in the playoffs, and I expect that to continue to drop without Braden Point in the lineup. Their penalty killing has improved. The Rangers' power play is deadly and dangerous. 33.3% power play, 81.8% penalty killing. That power play is so dangerous. We talked about a couple of these stats right now. Tampa Bay last 18 playoff losses have been followed by a win. So they're coming off their first playoff loss since dropping Game 5 of the first round against the Leafs. They then beat the Leafs in 3 straight 1-goal games, then outscored the Panthers 13-3 in a 4-game sweep. Rangers come in Friday on a 7-game home winning streak. It's a real deal. There's something special happening there in Madison Square Garden. They're attempting to become just the sixth team in the past 25 seasons to win at least 8 straight playoff games and 8 straight home playoff games. And no team's done that since the 2013 LA Kings, the Stanley Cup winning 2013 LA Kings. They won the cup in 2011 and 2013. The Rangers scored 9 times in the first 5 games against Carolina, and they've scored 17 goals in their last 3 games. Philip Hill has 5 of his 7 postseason goals in the past 3 games. And interesting about Hedl, I should say, Philip Hedl.
That is Hedl. Yeah.
Yeah, Hedl.
He's heedling up. He's feeling the Hedl.
Yeah. Interesting thing about him is he's the 3rd longest tenured player on the team, which some people may not realize, as he was drafted in 2017 first round. So it's Kreider, Zibanejad, and Hedl. And can you imagine the Senators' mistakes that they've made? One is letting go of Zibanejad. This kid line, Hedl 22, Lafreniere 20, and Kakko 21. 5 points in the 6-2 win. Lafreniere has 9 points in the series. And I will win both of my hockey pools because of this Rangers squad. I mean, I have 6 guys on the Avalanche and the rest on the Rangers. So I'm on the Lightning -1 at +130, and I am on the under 5.5 at -120. It is your floor, Bobano. How are you getting paid in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final?
Yeah, I miss the days when I was pretty much the only one that knew and mentioned this Tampa Bay off a loss streak. I remember even last year I've been mentioning it over and over after they lost the previous game. And now you fast forward to going into Game 2 tonight of this series here in the Eastern Conference Final, and everybody and his brother knows about this run off a loss now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Every media outlet's talking about it now on television, how they're 18-0 off a loss. And now when it's everybody knows about it, everybody knows how amazing they are off a loss, I always worry that's the time that the streak gets snapped. And if there's one team that's going to snap it, it's this Rangers team right now. They've got some serious momentum and serious confidence going. There's no doubt. Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider are on fire. They're playing great. They're leading this group. And the scary part is they've gotten to this point and won Game 1 of this series against Tampa Bay without the best that I think Artemi Panarin, the bread man, has to offer. And he finally came to life as well in Game 1. What if that happens now on a more consistent basis for the New York Rangers, that they get that kind of production moving forward from Artemi Panarin? So that's what's scary. And of course, you mentioned the young kids that are growing up right before our eyes. I think that's what Sean McDonough said in Game 1 on the ESPN broadcast. They are growing up right before our eyes. Philip Hedl, Alexis Lafreniere, and Kaapo Kakko. I mean, they've been great, especially Lafreniere and especially Hedl. 5 goals in the last 3 games for Philip Hedl. He's been absolutely outstanding. The defensive play has gotten better. You know, you're seeing now K-Andre Miller and Lindgren and all these younger defensemen. Yeah, early in the playoffs, they struggled. You know, it's their first major, journey into the playoffs. And now, though, they've had a lot of games now. They're getting more comfortable out there. And, of course, they've got Igor Shesterkin, who is now even ahead of Andrei Vasilevsky, Jimmy, in goals saved above average. You know, that's the advanced stat for goalies that measures high danger chance ability. How are you doing against those high danger high-quality chances. And Shesterkin is even better than Vasilevsky in that statistic. So there's great momentum for the Rangers. There's no doubt. I think they've won all but one home playoff game this year. They lost game 1 at home against Pittsburgh. And since then, they haven't lost a home playoff game. So they have won coming into tonight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight playoff games coming into tonight at home. So this isn't a cinch. This isn't a slam dunk for the New York Rangers. All that being said, all that long diatribe for me, I am on Tampa Bay as well. I'll live and die by the streak. That's the way I'm seeing it. It's 18-0. It's a team that we have seen time and time again respond. We've seen this goaltender, Andrei Vasilevsky, go from getting maybe shelled for 5 or 6 like he did against Toronto in game 1 to being a brick wall in game 2. And, I think we've got a good chance to see that here tonight in this game as well. So, when I look at it here, it's just the streak's been something I've bet repeatedly, and I'm up big profits betting that streak. I'm not going to jump off it. And if it loses tonight and finally it gets snapped and the Rangers go up 2-0, I'll live with it. And I'll especially live with it because I've got them to win the East and the Stanley Cup futures from before the season. So, I'll take it if Tampa Bay loses tonight. But for this individual game, I do like Tampa Bay. And we had Carl Alsner on our Ice Guys hockey show yesterday, and he said it, and a couple of the other former players we've had on the show said it. The 9-day layoff is a bad thing. All right, it's not a good thing. All right, it's just too much time off, and then you've got to get yourself back into the flow of a intense, fast playoff type of game like that. It's not easy. They've all said it. Carl Alsner said it yesterday. And look, you saw Tampa Bay end up absolutely looking like that. Right away, like, Jimmy, you could tell that first goal and the terrible defensive miscue and mishap, and Kreider's left all alone on a great pass from Zibanejad a minute into the game. I said right there, Tampa's in trouble. Like the right away, that's just a mistake they don't make when they're playing at their best. And I think the 9 days off, and every player I've talked to has said that. The 9-day layoff was a massive, massive detriment to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I expect them to be a lot better, and I'm with you. We'll go money line Lightning and see if they go to 19-0 off a loss.
I love it. I want to talk about a couple more things. I guess I just had too much faith in this veteran squad with the 9-day break, and Dan Bonner was trying to hammer it home to us, and I was kind of thick-headed about that. With that being said, I think the 9-day break will help moving forward in the playoffs. I don't think it's now we could easily.
I agree with that. It's bad for game 1, but the accumulation of that time off and that rest, it's going to pay off if this is a deep and a long series, and if this is a deep and a long playoff run still for Tampa Bay. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
I think so. And also, we could see the Avalanche in this very similar situation. It's very possible. Now, I'm sure the Oiler fans are like, no, well, Oilers will take care of business at home. I do not expect them to do that. And it wouldn't surprise me if we see a big break for the Avalanche before the Stanley Cup final, which will be tricky. And they're a little banged up too, so they might actually want it. Let's see what we can get you, Bobano. If you can find something better, market moving towards the Tampa Bay Lightning. And you are right. There's a lot of people on the Lightning here. We have 76% of the tickets and 80% of the cash on the Tampa Bay Lightning. 35% of the tickets and 62% of the cash on the under. And I want to ask you about that under, but I also want to try and find a better line than minus 131 here. So if anyone can find a better line, let us know. It has moved to minus 140 over at Bet365. It was interesting. The difference in some of these books were shocking to me. For instance, and I know this is a different sport, but Sports Interaction has the Blue Jays to win the World Series at plus 706, and Bet365 has them at plus 1100. I mean, that's just a huge difference for two books that get a ton of Canadian customers. Took me by surprise. And then the Sports Interaction had moved it to minus 140, a long time ago. And then
that's something you want to be on the lookout for if you're interested in betting futures or anything with Canadian teams. If you're going to use the books that are now regulated in Ontario, like Bet365, Sports Interaction, FanDuel, DraftKings, PointsBet, ScoreBet, BetMGM, go on down the list, tons of them now. Take a look at the pricing there, and you may not get as good of a price with some of the Canadian team wagers there at those books, because obviously, you're talking about serving Ontario, and you're going to see an influx of money toward those teams because people want to bet with their heart in a lot of instances.
And I don't know if you saw this, but as the Score bet was bought by Penn Gaming for $2 billion. I know you know that.
Yes.
And, So they just pulled the Score out of America.
Yeah.
Pulled them completely out of America to focus.
All their handle is going to be Ontario handle, essentially.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, which I think will prove then that $2 billion investment may not have been too wise. Minus 132 over.
Buyer's remorse for Penn Gaming, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Minus 131 is the best I can find at this point. Okay, talk to me about why you are not also adding the under if you're on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
First of all, I'm not good with unders. I don't love betting them. Those are the two big reasons. I'm not good with them, and I don't love betting them either. But I agree with it. This does feel like an under game. I mean, we had the over, and I like the over in game one. I bet the over in game one, and I figured the layoff was going to lead to sloppy play, bad defense, breakdowns, and that's exactly what happened. And a little more up and down pace, and I didn't think Vasilevsky would be all at his absolute best in game one either off the layoff, and he wasn't. The whole team wasn't, but it led to a more free-flowing game. I think we get back to a very good goaltending duel tonight, defensive-minded. Tampa Bay is going to want to fix that. And when you look at it, I think the under's probably the lot. And I still think this is going to be low-scoring series at the end of the day, and there'll be more unders than overs in this series. But I just like the situational element for an over in game one. Doesn't mean I like this series to be a track meet all of a sudden. So I would lean under.
And ski profit on the first period under 1.5. I like that. Correlates exactly with mine. I'm not going to move on it. Just like I could still see a 1-1 game. If it's 1-1 after the first period, I still think I'm live. So, but I don't want to double up. But if I was to double up there, I would definitely be on it. And Tampa Bay to win the Cup plus 360. I didn't get I'm only at plus 700 on the Lightning to win the Cup. I could have picked a much better spot. They were double digits about. I thought they were going to turn it on late. Now they had a healthy fear for the Florida Panthers, and fear might not be the right word. They wanted to beat the Panthers so bad. All they heard was the Panthers all year long. Panthers win the division. They had such a build up towards beating that Panthers team, and it clearly wasn't there in the first game against the Rangers. So I think that 6-2 win against the Lightning will wake them all up. And I'm right with you, Bobano. The best line I can find is the minus 131 right now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. If anybody can find anything else, Brothers and Bet says, man, the fact that everyone is on the Lightning is scaring the hell out of me. In our chat, it's not 4-1 like it is in the betting market. In the chat, there's more. It's closer with more people believing in the New York Rangers. And there's a bunch of them here. Eddie Euler believing in the Rangers. And I can understand looking at the plus line with the Rangers and wanting a part of it. I can understand that. That won't be Bobano and myself. He's on the Lightning minus 131. I took the minus 1 at plus 130. And I took the under 5.5 at minus 120. And that's still available right now at minus 120.
Tampa Bay is it for me for that's the only official play for me on this game. Although I will say I will be right, even though I like Tampa Bay, I will be riding once again the Philip Hedl anytime goal score. Have to bet it again. There's plus 475 the other night. He's got 5 goals in the last 3 games. He's shooting the puck every time it's on his stick. And he's going to be around that price again, I'm sure of it. They haven't adjusted yet. You're going to get probably plus 400 at least again on Philip Hedl to score a goal. I mean, that's just value you can't pass up with the way he's playing. 5 goals in the last 3 games.
I love it. I love it. And if you want to make that official, if you're going to tweet that out at all, just tag me, and then we'll make that official for the show.
I just might later. Not yet, but I just might later on. Yep.
Beautiful.
And by the way, I got to give the NHL credit for the television deals they've got in place right now, because I'm seeing on Twitter everywhere. There's people tweeting about the playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs the last few weeks that I've never seen tweet about hockey before or talk about hockey before. And it's amazing how when you're on ABC and ESPN and TNT, those are the home networks now in the States for the NHL, instead of CNBC, MSNBC, USA Network, and all these rinky-dink networks that nobody can find on their provider. It's amazing what a difference that can make.
Yeah, it also helps having New York Rangers and a defending Stanley Cup champion. And then we have
Yeah.
Colorado. And if we could only have a West Coast team as well, but then having Canada involved with the Oilers, it's a nice spread here. We are locked in, and Bobano and I are both running real nice in the NHL. So let's keep that going. Dominican says, I believe in the Rangers. I won't bet against them, but game one doesn't tell the story of the series. Tonight does big time, and he's on the under 5.5. So, brothers and bets, I hope that I hope you stick with the Lightning, but I can understand the fear that you have. All right, it is time to go into MLB action for us. And man, Bobano, did you have a fun run last show to keep your numbers climbing in a very fast rate. You are now in MLB 32-27, hitting at 54.2%, plus 3.22 units with an ROI, plus 5.4 or 5.46% with an average line of minus 104. And last week, just to remind everyone, you cashed. You started out 5-0. You cashed the Red Sox first 5 minus a half, minus 125. You doubled up on the Mets first 5 minus a half, a plus 100. Mets full game minus 148. Cash. Miami Atlanta over 9 was a cash. Twins first 5 minus a half was a cash. You lost on the Milwaukee St. Louis over, but it looked like that was going to cash.
That was a brutal beat. I remember it.
It looked like that was going to cash. You were with me splitting and losing the VIG on the Blue Jays on Friday. Remember, we lost the first 5, but you cashed the full game. You lost the Astros first 5 minus a half, minus 128. So did I. That was when Verlander let the
Verlander blew up that night. I remember that. Yeah.
And then you catch the LA Arizona over 9.5. You pushed a couple bets. You had a spectacular day. Let's get to work. Oh, I'd like to hear what LJ has to say. He's great, Cap. He says, I'm saving my money for the Tampa Bay Lightning on Sunday. 7 straight wins, 6 wins by puck line on past 7 games played on a Sunday, 4-0 at home, 3 wins by puck line. That's exciting. Art Hayes. We can see Art Hayes. Man, I've missed you, Art Hayes. Nice to see Art Hayes rolling with us. Okay. Let's go into MLB, and I'm coming off. So I'm now 12-1 in my last 48 hours in MLB, up 11.23 units. Yesterday was a great day. Blue Jays -1 was a casher. Went 6-1 plus 5.14 units. Blue Jays -1 was a casher. Tigers first 5 was a loss. Tigers full game was a casher at plus 110. Marlins first 5 minus half cashed. Marlins full game -1 cashed. San Francisco Miami first 5 under 3.5 cashed. And then I got the Brewers miracle to cash. Eddie always says Alcantara put some more money in my account yesterday. He's playing on guys for K's wins. He's just so good and so helpful. I've made just 3 bets in MLB.
I'm disappointed I didn't bet them, but I'm at the same time I didn't love the price. I mean, I said it with Jose yesterday. Say Hey Plays show. I said I want to bet Miami here. I just didn't love minus 140. I thought, hey, people know Alcantara's good when they're putting him out there at minus 140 now. But still, great job by him. He's definitely bet on all the way. I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. And I got plus lines on both because I took first 5 minus a half and full game -1. So, but I get it. And after the doubleheader, there was some fears about their offense. It was the chat that got me on that first 5 under 3.5. C-Mac jumped on it too, but it was the chat and the breakdowns that did it there. All right, let's get to work here. Roger, that says complete Padres bullpen implosion. Yeah, sometimes things just bounce in your favor, and I was surprised that was tough.
That was tough. I was on the bad end of that one.
I was fortunate.
That was very, very tough. But it was a good night. I mean, we had Colorado, Atlanta over. We had Cubs and Cardinals over. We had the Tigers first 5 full game like you did. We split that. What do we have? We had the Blue Jays first 5, Seattle, Baltimore over the total. So more good than bad yesterday for sure.
Well, let's keep that coming right now. We get to work at 2:20 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Cardinals 29-22, 13-11 on the road. The Chicago Cubs 22-29, 10-17 at home. We've already heard from Razor Sharp Picks, who is on the Chicago Cubs at -107. We're at Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. Let's start with the weather here in Chicago. 68 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 3.2 miles per hour left to right. Very mild, and then it starts blowing in, but non-issues there around across the board. Then let's take a look at the line history on our lone afternoon game. And those of you who cat with me for a long time know that I'm trying to be consciously aware of all the mistakes that I make. And one is that I reach and try to have afternoon action just because it brings joy to my life. I've stopped. I've tried my hardest, and I'm only saying it out loud so that maybe I don't do it and force it here. We've seen a 15-cent move to the Chicago Cubs. They opened up at 5:08 p.m. yesterday at plus 100. They're now at minus 115. So a move towards the Cubs, which makes sense to me. This total's gone from 8 to 8.5. 8 to 8.5. It was juiced to the under 8 as well at minus 120, just to show how big of a move it's gone. Now it's over 8.5 at minus 115. Let's take a look at the cash flow, see where the money is in this spot for the afternoon game. 7,717 tickets in. By the way, as yesterday, Sports Insights saw a lot of value in the across the board here. Today, there's 2 teams that have full value and then just 3 slivers, and that's it. So just to let you know, the 2 teams with full value are the Cleveland Guardians and the Washington Nationals. And then just some slivers. Here we have 7,717 tickets in. There is a sliver of value on Stroman and the Cubs. And look at this, 19% of the tickets and 18% of the cash on the Cubs. That's it. And a 15-cent move towards the Cubs. I can see why Razor was drooling all over getting his money down on this. Also, it's 50-50 for the total, but 85% of tickets are on the under, which is a little surprising. A very important note is what Jay Peasy and Lee Davis are talking about right now, because there's always been a talk about teams struggling offensively after leaving Coors Field. Jay Peasy saying that is a myth, and Lee Davis saying I agree. It says teams are now 5-4 after playing at Coors, and I love that Lee's backing that up with numbers as well. Julian Cesario says Cardinals money line after a loss and better lineup. Max Welly says the Cubs have been a huge surprise. So we have Michaelis, 3-3, 2.67 ERA, 1.05 WHIP. He's had a good season, but he's coming off getting hurt badly at home. 5 2/3, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 6 Ks, 1 walk. Going up, that was against the Brewers. Going up against Stroman, 3.95 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. He's coming off a great start. It was an extra inning loss to the White Sox, but it's because the bullpen let him down. He went 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 Ks, 2 walks. The Cards hit righties almost the same as the Cubs. 247, 696 OPS for the Cards, 235, 694 for the Cubs. The Cards bullpen is almost the same as the Cubs. A little bit better on the back end, but let's hear what Bobano has to say about this market move with very low ticket count on the Chicago Cubs. Take it away, Bobano, Cardinals Cubs.
Yeah, I lean Cardinals, but I don't like there's some things I don't like. Michaelis, I've seen this act from Michaelis before, where he's roaring out of the gate. His pitch is great for a month or two, and then he has that one bad start. And I remember there was one time after the bad start, I jumped back and backed Michaelis again, and he was just as bad the next time. So I'm wondering if this is the start of a downturn, that last start against Milwaukee. He got crushed in that game. There's no question about that. Then all of a sudden his ERA, actually the last 3 games, it's not been smooth sailing. He kind of labored through the 6-inning start against the Mets. He was okay against the Jays, actually. We'll give him that. But last start was the rough one. Home runs have started to become an issue. I don't like the trajectory of Michaelis here the last 3 starts. His road ERA is great, and Marcus Stroman has been awful at Wrigley, but his current form, Stroman, is very good. You look at it, 5 runs allowed in the last 24 innings of work for Marcus Stroman. That's over a span of his last 4 starts. So he's been very good. His current form, I think, is better than Michaelis. So that's what got me off the St. Louis side. And look, the Cubs actually lately haven't been nearly as bad. They've been hitting a bit. And what concerns me is you mentioned the Cardinals bullpen. Cardinals bullpen hasn't been great. I know the Cubs bullpen has their issues. We know that. But the Cardinals bullpen has had some problems lately, late in games as well. So it's just a game I'm going to stay off completely.
Yeah, I feel like the market's telling us that the Cubs are going to be good here. It wasn't part of my plan, but seeing just such few tickets on them and the market moving towards them makes me think.
He's a streaky guy, Michaelis. That's what worries me. I suddenly see that start where he gets absolutely rocked by the Brewers, and I've seen that become an issue now where he has like 2 or 3 of those before he gets back on the right path again. I've seen this repeatedly from him.
Yeah, this makes me want to back them here. The back end of the Cubs bullpen, I just can't. It takes me off of them full game. They've converted 13 of 22 save opportunities. We already had Max Swelly saying the Cubs are 7 games below 500, but with just a -4 run differential. That's the back end hurting them. So this makes me want to, and wow, Mike M saying 97%. I have 95% of the cash on the Cardinals run line, but yeah, that makes me want to move on the Cubs first 5 is what it does. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to get there, but I'm leaning towards it at this point. What would I get here? I'd be curious just to see what the price is for me on the first 5 -110. I think that's where I go. Taking a look at the batter versus pitcher situation, you have Corey Dickerson, who hits Stroman hard, Pujols, who hits Stroman hard. You can imagine that's with no homers, but 357 and 14 at bat. So you can maybe say that was earlier in his career. Goldschmidt's 4 for 8 against them. That makes me nervous. That makes me very nervous. Or Arenado 3 for 12. Ian Happ 5 for 15 against Michaelis. Contreras hitting 308 and 13 at bats. And okay, let's get it, Vipe, my man. Okay, so I'm leaning towards the Cubs first 5, and
I know it's the only day game. I get it. It's a Friday afternoon. We're all a little squirrely. We're all a little antsy. We want to get a little bet in, but sometimes there's not an edge, and I'm staying off. Yeah.
I did not lean towards the Cardinals at all. So, but I wasn't necessarily leaning towards the Cubs, but that's why it makes it easier for me to move on this trigger here. Ricky Bobby said took the first 5 over. It seems to go over when the Cubs are at home, and the weather is decent for that. Okay, let's move on to 6:40 p.m. Eastern. I have made 3 bets on the card, and I had some interest in the Marlins again. Interesting that Fat Win came up on the show. Fat Win out of Australia, a great capper, and he's really confident with the San Francisco Giants. Let's discuss the spot here. Giants, Marlins. We're at Lone Depot Park. It's Cobb versus Eliezer Hernandez. And for whatever, I have a vividness bias of Eliezer Hernandez pitching well at home. Clearly, that's not the case this year, and I just wanted to say that out loud so that it doesn't affect. So because that's why I keep talking about that book, The Undoing Project, because our subconscious will mess with us in every facet of life. And people don't realize that, with the biases that we have ingrained. Miami opens up at plus 120. There's been a 15-cent move towards the San Francisco Giants. Marlins are now plus 135. That makes me not want to move on them. This total opened up at 7.5, and it's now at 8. And another thing about the tough travel that the Marlins have had, and you'll hear a lot of people talk about it, that it affects the team on the second day back. For whatever reason, on that first day, they still have the adrenaline pumping, and then that second day, they're just exhausted. Maybe that's part of this 15-cent move towards the San Francisco Giants, as the Marlins had that double dip and a very long double dip in Colorado 2 days ago. When we go into the cash flow in this spot, 6,304 tickets in, 74% of the tickets excuse me, and 92% of the cash on the Giants. Then 44% of the tickets and 69% of the cash on the under. This now is making me extremely uncomfortable right across the board. I talking about biases, I still have a bias of Cobb being the pitcher he was with the Tampa Bay Rays as I focus so much on the AL East. And he's cost me a lot more money than he's made me. And Viper
Hasn't he been disappointing? I actually, there were a couple starts early in the season where I cashed with him and he looked pretty good, but not lately. And pitching where he's pitching in the division he's pitching, that is disappointing. He's not pitching up to par, in my opinion.
Oh, and Viper will laugh thinking of all the money I lost on him when he was in Baltimore. I don't know what I was doing. But last start, he looked good against the Reds team that starting to hit. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 8 Ks, 3 walks. Hernandez last start was 6-3 loss to the Braves, 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 homers, 3 Ks. The Marlins hit righties harder than we expected them to. 259 average, 755 OPS. Giants versus righties, 246, 721 OPS. The Giants bullpen has just fallen apart after looking spectacular off the top. And they're now 4.48 ERA, 1.37 WHIP. Both bullpens have a weak back end. Both bullpens have successfully converted 11 of 19 saves. And the Marlins bullpen's been hit a little bit of late. You can maybe blame the thin air in Colorado for that. Take it away here, Bobano, Giants, Marlins.
Yeah, you can blame it a little, but still going back to the last 10 games, which factors in a lot more than just that Colorado series, that Marlins pen has a 6.82 ERA. It's not been good, as of late. And the Giants pen hasn't been good either. This is my first official play. I'm on over 7.5 here. Minus 114 is the best price I think we can find with that currently. Let me just verify that. No, actually, we'll do 7.5 minus 107 at Pinnacle. So let's go with that. But I like over here. Cobb's road ERA has been brutal. Cobb hasn't been good 2 of the last 3 starts. And even the start in Cincy, 2 runs, 4 hits, was much better. And that game still went over the total because, look, the bullpen, was not very good in the latter innings, gave up a few runs. And you look at the over for Cobb on the mound, how about 8-1 to the over in his last 9 starts for Alex Cobb. That includes 1 from last year, but this year, 8-1 to the 7-1, I should say, to the over this year in Alex Cobb starts. Eliezer Hernandez, 5.77 ERA. There's a lot of Marlins pitchers I like, and I think in time he could still be a pretty good pitcher, but right now he's not exactly been lights out. He's got a 4.5 ERA at home, which tells you he's struggling. This is definitely a pitcher-friendly park. When you've got and he knows this park, being with the Marlins. And when you have a 4.5 home ERA, you're not pitching well. Got roughed up by Atlanta in this last start, 4 runs, 7 hits in that game, and lasted only 4 innings as well. That was back on, back on Wednesday, Sunday. That ended up happening over the weekend. I think he's probably going to be able to, the Giants, I should say, are going to be able to score some runs against him. You look at what they've done last 10 games, again, they've been a little bit better at the plate. I think the Marlins, the last 10 games, you see what they're doing against righties. It's been impressive to see how they've hit. So all things considered, for 2 pitchers that aren't exactly in A form right now, and the way both lineups are, performing, with the way the bullpens are struggling on both sides, I thought 7.5 looked a little bit cheap. So for me, San Francisco, Miami, over 7.5, minus 107.
The over 7.5 for Bobano here. This is interesting. It's very interesting that
the 2 starters combined, by the way, Cobb and Hernandez, in their starts this year combined, 13-4 to the over.
Yeah. I want to see what this 7.5 would be here. Oh, just minus 120. Piker loves it. Piker loves it. He's on the over. We have a few guys on the over. Max Boy says Giants games have gone over 7 of the last 10. Eddie Euler also on that over 7.5 at minus 105. We have TJ taking the plus money on the Marlins here. And I am not going to move at all on this game. This game makes me a little uncomfortable. So Gas Report is on the other side. He's on the under in this spot. And let's move on. So Eddie Euler saying it's at minus 105 at Pinnacle. Has it even moved to minus 105? I have minus 107. I have the let me just see if I can do a quick refresh. And no, yeah, it's minus 107. Okay. Bobano on the board, over 7.5 at minus 107, and I am off of it. By the way, Dami Gunricci in the chat, he's on the Cubs first 5 under 4.5 minus 115, Mets first 5 under 4.5 minus 120, Pirates over 8 at minus 117, and he's on the under in the Eastern Conference Final. All good, Eddie Euler, my guy. Let's keep rolling. We move on to 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Washington Nationals and Cincinnati Reds. Guys talking about the little battle between Jose and Dutch. I think the bigger one is Mr. Gokster thinking that because Jose was on the first 10 minutes of plus 195 that he was going to jinx it. That was the easiest casher of the night. Jose has been extremely impressive. No fear in Jose. The confidence has created a fearless Jose. And he's making a lot of money doing it. I love it. Okay, we move on. Washington Nationals at Cincinnati Reds, Great America Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have Josiah Gray against Mike Minor making his season debut. Nationals 9-17 on the road. Reds all of a sudden 18-32, 10-12 at home. playing much, much better. Let's start with the wind at the Great American Ballpark here. We have 81 Fahrenheit, 5.2 miles per hour out to right center, but it completely dies down an hour into 1.9 and stays there for the rest of the game. We'll take a look at the line history in this spot in Cincy. We have the Nats opening up at plus 100. They're now plus 115, a 15-cent move to the Cincinnati Reds. We talk about the total here. Open 9.5 juice to the under at minus 120. It's now 9.5 juice to the over at minus 120. We take a look at the cash flow. Here we go. This is the first spot on the board. There's only two of them where Sports Insight says that there is full line value on the dog. The dog that has the market moving in the opposite direction. 40% of the tickets are on Washington, 42% of the cash. Then you have 45% of tickets on the over, 49% of the cash on the over. Josiah Gray, 5 and 4, 5.08 ERA, 1.36 whip, 54 Ks and 51 and a third. He's allowed 13 home runs this season. And we have Mike Minor making his season debut. So he had a shoulder injury in spring training, and then he had a setback in a minor league rehab assignment in April. He's made 5 rehab starts, but the most recent one was good. 6 innings, 79 pitches in AAA Louisville. He strikes out 9, allows 1 earned run, 3 hits, and no walks. So he's ready to go. He's had 5+ ERAs now for 3 straight seasons. This past season, 8 and 12, 5.05 ERA, 1.24 whip. He eats up some innings, but he gets touched while he eats them. Nats versus lefties, 253, 656 OPS. They don't hit them. Reds versus righties, 230, 672 OPS. And we're talking about 2 of the worst bullpens in the league. Nats bullpen, 4.47 ERA, 1.39 whip, converted 6 of 10. Reds bullpen, 4.77 ERA, 1.38 whip, converted 10 of 14. Bum fight here at the Great American Ballpark. Take it away, Bobano. Nats, Reds.
Yeah, it is a bum fight, but it's one I'm involved in, side and total here. Over 9.5 full game. I'm on Washington here. I mean, I'm not laying a price with Mike Minor. You got to be out of your freaking mind. I mean, no way. You mentioned it. 3 straight seasons of a 5+ ERA for Mike Minor. He's making his first start of the year. He's not obviously been in rhythm, pitching every other day. You know, it's not been good from him the last few years. I don't trust him. And Chat's right. Nationals have hit lefties for years. Now, this year, it's kind of started out slowly for them against lefties. Earlier, the first few weeks, they weren't necessarily. It's like, what's going on here? Why aren't the Nationals hitting lefties right now? But they've been hitting lefties lately. Last 10, 315 average, 8 runs per game against lefties. They've been much better against southpaws during that regard, and I think you're going to see that here against Minor. Josiah Gray is the big question because he's been a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. It's been all over the place for Gray this year. But you look at the bad starts, especially the last 2. Both of them were at Nationals Park in Washington, and they were against Houston and the Dodgers. 2 teams that are pretty potent offensively, 2 pretty good lineups. He had struggled in both of those. Take those 2 starts out. He shut out the Giants, only allowed 3 runs to the Angels, only allowed 3 runs to the Marlins, and gave up just 1 run against Colorado. In his last start. Now, he has had command problems. He has had control problems. That is a red flag. That's also why I jumped on the over. Because, look, if he has command and control issues here, and you make one mistake pitch to someone like a Joey Votto, for instance, you're in big trouble. And, of course, the 2 bullpens stink. That's another reason I like the over. But I'm going to take a chance here with Washington as an underdog. Now, I definitely like them first 5 innings, because we know that bullpen isn't very good. So you can get plus 120. Bet online, I believe, best number for the first 5 innings for the Washington Nationals. I'm definitely going to be on that, as well as the full game over, 9.5, which is minus, it looks like 115. Looks like is the best we're going to get with that. I'm debating whether to do full game. I don't think I will this time. Usually I'm always going to go full game, first 5 split. But I really, really hate the Washington bullpen that much that I'm probably just going to keep at first 5. I don't do that very often, but I'm going to do that here. So Washington first 5 plus 120, and also over 9.5 minus 115.
I can find you a minus 109 on that over.
Okay. Yep.
So we'll give you
Great.
that. That's available at Circa right now. You're on the Nats first 5 at plus 120. Johnny Gonzalez, I just threw it in the chat. That team total over 4.5 at minus 105 for the Nats. That's available at Pinnacle right now. That's available at Pinnacle right now. The Jenkins says that Nats team total, so I don't have to worry about Gray. Danzo on Nats to score in the first inning at plus 200. Danzo's been cashing a bunch of these big prices for a run in the first inning. And Max Swelly's on the Nats first 5. Wow, I don't know where you found plus 145. Maybe is that the minus a half? Because I can't find that. That would be a must bet, most likely. All right, there you have it. Josiah Gray. And Andy Oler has an interesting point. He is talking about Gray being selected in the second round by the Reds in the 2018 draft, whether that would maybe play into this at all. And Eddie Oler also saying that Strasburg will make a rehab start tonight for AAA Rochester, the Dirty Chester. I love Rochester, and I love it. I love the city. We used to go down there and hit Finger Lakes Racetrack and hit Dinosaur Barbecue and Finger Lakes Racetrack. And man, I love the Dirty Chester, and I love the city.
Finger Lakes keeping Monday degenerate horse race betting alive. Yeah.
Well, that's because it was in my days when I was doing stand up. So they had Monday and Tuesday horse racing. So it's drive out on Sunday, and then hammer the horses both Monday and Tuesday. It was I love great memories of Rochester. And now that the pandemic is under somewhat control, I'd like to go down there a lot more. All right, let's move on. We move on. Eric Jones in the house. Great to see you, Eric. So we have moves made by Bobano. I think I'm going to move on the Cubs first 5. I expect to move on the Cubs first 5, but Bobano's on the over 7.5 in Giants Marlins and the over 9.5 in Nats Reds and the Nats first 5 at plus 120. I have made 3 bets on this card, and they are coming up here in a little bit, but not yet. We talk about 7:05 p.m. Eastern, and Eddie always says right on Don Cherry's Rochester Americans. Yeah, I've had great time. I've only been there twice, 2 different trips to Rochester, and loved it. And one was I celebrated my birthday in Rochester in that Finger Lakes, with my dirty water in the horse track, drunk all day. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. LA Angels 27-25, 12-12 on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies 22-29, 12-15 at home. Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We have Chase Silseth going up against Zach Eflin.
Joe Girardi-less Philadelphia Phillies now fired this morning.
What do you think about that? That's a very, very, very important point. How do you think the players react to Girardi getting canned?
I don't know if it's that same thing as we bet on the team in the first game after a coaching change or a firing of the manager, in this case, like it is in hockey or basketball or even football, because baseball is different. Baseball, you've still got to factor in who the hell's on the mound, that the starting pitcher. And if the starting pitcher stinks and we don't trust him, is that angle going to work? You just blindly bet the team after they fire the manager. It's not going to work as well, in a sport like baseball. So, but, they needed a change. This has been one of the most disappointing teams. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no question about that whatsoever. No debate. This has been one of the most disappointing teams in Major League Baseball here in 2022. I don't know if they've tuned him out. I don't know if it's just, what he's, his management of the bullpen has been questionable all year, considering it's not a very good bullpen. There's been a lot of people pointing fingers at Girardi for some of the things that have been going on with this team, and they've kind of looked like a team that's been waiting for this to happen based on the way they've been playing. So we'll see. And in terms of tonight, we'll see if it sparks them. The good news is they have got an absolutely scuffling LA Angels team coming into Philadelphia here tonight. I mean, the Angels are just a mess right now. They've lost 8 in a row. They got absolutely smacked around by the Blue Jays last weekend, and that started the downfall. Credit to you, Jimmy. You were all over just riding that Blue Jays team last weekend in that series against the Angels, and now the Blue Jays are on a massive heater, and this team's ice cold. What's happened to their offense? 1 run in each of the losses at the Bronx against the Yankees. For this lineup to get just 1 run, that's unacceptable. That's a disgrace. I mean, how do you only get 1 run in each of those games? I know Tyone and Cortez and Montgomery are decent pitchers, but there's no reason you should get just 1 run against them. So you got 2 struggling teams, but I will say this: the Phillies did take the last game against the Giants, the last game of Joe Girardi managing the team, and I believe they rallied from behind as well to win that game 6-5. And they've got Zach Eflin on the mound for the Phillies tonight, who is usually a pitcher that when he's pitching at home, I like to trust him a little bit more, than for instance on the road. And you look at his numbers this year at home, Jimmy, 1.57 ERA. right now. So he's pitched well at home. I expect a bounce from the Phillies after the change. So I am definitely leaning Philadelphia. First 5 full game split. I'm going to think about this one. And by the time my segment is over here, I'll have a final decision whether I'm going to make it official. But I definitely lean Phillies. First 5 full game split. And I don't like Silseth. I do not like Silseth. I don't trust him. He's got marginal stuff, and he's not someone I'm looking to bet.
I loved fading him against the Jays. He went 4 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. He wasn't bad, and it was just a 4-3 loss at home to Toronto. But I just, he had that spectacular first start. This is an 11th round draft pick. I have found some success. One of the things Big Ragu talks about is the pitchers coming up now are pretty easy to fade. The pitchers who are coming up right at the beginning of the season are the ones that the teams really believe in. The pitchers that are coming up now are often, it's not 100% of the time, but they're often, injury replacements or pitchers that they would prefer to keep having down in AAA, but are forced to bring up. And I'm not saying that Silseth falls suit with that, but there was a spot on, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday, when I took a first round pick who had a bad first start to take out a 5th round pick who had a bad first start, and the first round pick was lights out and pitched excellently. And then maybe I'm simplifying things a little too easy, but I'm not afraid of Silseth going up against Eflin. Let's talk about the market and then see if Bobano will think whether he wants to move. I didn't plan on moving on this game. 74 Fahrenheit, 6.3 miles per hour in, dies down to 4.3 miles per hour in. Eddie Euler talking about Harper, saying Bryce Harper should play. Max Play says it says to be decided on Eflin, not for us. Oh, it does. Interesting.
What some of the odds boards have him no confirmed starter, but RotoWire's got Eflin, so that's why I'm assuming Eflin for now.
Yeah, I've studied it with
that's
Eflin.
That's all we can do.
Yeah. Eflin got lit up 8-2 in his last start at the Mets. 6 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 2 walks. Angels 244, 748 OPS versus righties. Phillies just 242, 692 OPS, and both bullpens are garbage. So let's just take a quick look at the line history and the cash before we move past this onto the next game. And that is, where is this Phillies spot? What the hell's wrong with me? What the hell? Did they not have it listed? I don't think these ass clowns don't even have it listed here. So I can't give you the line history there, but I can tell you where the cash is. It's just what a site's just falling apart. Here we go with this spot, 1,223 tickets. So it's been, I guess, off the board at some of these spots because there's 5,000 less tickets than any other game. 57% of the tickets, 67% of the cash is on the Phillies, 86% of the tickets on the under, and no cash flow. So we move on. We move past this spot. 7:05 p.m. Eastern, Arizona Diamondbacks, 25-27, 11-11 on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates, 22-27, 11-14 at home. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was going to move on the first 5 under, but the market scared me off of it. And we'll see if that changes after we discuss this spot. We're at PNC Park. Take a look at the weather. 73 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 2.9 miles per hour to right. Stays between 2.9 and 4, so no concerns at all with the weather. We'll go over to the line history here in this Arizona-Pittsburgh spot. It opens up with Arizona minus 110, so it's a pick 'em. The first move is towards the Pirates, 5 cents. And then another 5 cents. Since then, it's gone towards the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks have actually moved 5 cents since the opener and 15 cents since 1 in the morning. Since 7:43 at night. 15 cents since 7:43 at night. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 7.5, juiced to the over minus 120, and it moved to 8 at 10:46 this morning. And at 11:33, moved to minus 115 and 10 cents. Another move towards the over. And that took me by surprise. So when I was close to or thinking about taking the first 5 over, at that time it was 7.5 was the full game, and it was 4 for the first 5. Christian Larson saying Pirates hangover spot, and D. Jenkins saying Diamondbacks offense solid on the road. Real Deal Prime looking at the over 7.5, and E looking at the Diamondbacks here. Dabby Cab is on the Arizona team total over 3.5 at minus 130 in this spot. Merle Kelly versus JT Brubaker. We made good money on Merle Kelly at the beginning of the year, and we've not been betting him lately, and he's been worse. He hasn't been bad, but he's been worse. His last start, 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and a 3-2 loss at home to the Dodgers. Nothing wrong with that start. Dodgers smash righties. JT Brubaker has been looking better. He's coming off a 4-2 win at the Padres, 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 0 earned runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Diamondbacks hitting 219, 701 OPS versus righties. Pirates hitting 224, 645 OPS, and both bullpens are weak. Let's just take a look at the cash and see why, if this added to my fear here. 6,115 tickets in. 64% of the tickets and 86% of the cash is on Arizona. And then 70% of the tickets on the over and 50% of the cash. That's interesting. So I guess it was just the line movement moving towards the over. Why would they be making the under more and more appealing? I guess that was enough to scare me off of this spot. But the money coming in on Merle Kelly. Are you going to back Merle Kelly? I know he's been good to you this year. Take it away, Bobano, Diamondbacks, Pirates.
Oh, I love this spot. I love this spot to fade Pittsburgh. They're off their World Series for the year. They just went into Chavez Ravine and they swept the Dodgers 3 straight. Now they come back home to Pittsburgh after that euphoria of doing that, and I think they're going to get beat tonight. And I like Merrill Kelly. He's been a bet-on pitcher for me all year, and I'm on him here. First 5 full game split, Zona. That's what I'm looking at here. I know Kelly hasn't been as good lately. 2 of those starts, though, against the Dodgers. Keep that in mind. And one of them was really rough, where he gave up 8 runs in just 2 innings at Chavez Ravine. And the Diamondbacks are on an 0-4 slide with him on the mound, so you can't deny those numbers. He hasn't been as sharp lately, and Brubaker has been better lately. But here's the thing. They strike out a lot, Pittsburgh. And Merrill Kelly's very good at inducing strikeouts. He's got good movement on his pitches, and I definitely think you're going to see maybe Pittsburgh swinging away a little bit. And on the flip side, Brubaker, one of his issues has been walks. And the thing with Brubaker or with Arizona is they're actually one of the top 5 teams in baseball, Jimmy, drawing walks, getting walks. So their lineup's actually been sneaky in terms of how productive they've been, how patient they've been. And actually, a lot of the chat is hitting on what I'm about to hit on right now, and that's the fact they've been very good offensively on the road this year. Their road numbers offensively have been quite good. In fact, better than their home numbers. So I think this is a great spot. I like Merrill Kelly. It's Pittsburgh now. You're playing a little bit of a weaker lineup. I know they hit better than expected against the Dodgers, and on the flip side, I think for the Pirates, it's a bet against spot. They're back home. They're off a huge sweep against LA. And these teams that are mediocre or bad, and I still think Pittsburgh is mediocre and bad team, I don't trust them after, something like that to keep it going. So Arizona, first 5 full game split for me.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense. And if we think that Merle Kelly's going to have a good start, and wow. So Dabby all over the team total over. Bobano on the Diamondbacks first 5 in full game. I guess I'm going to need more time. To this wasn't really on my radar, although there's no way I was going to back the Pirates, but I didn't know if I wanted to back the Diamondbacks. I'm going to take more time and look at this spot. A great breakdown by you guys. By the way, let me see if I can.
It would be so Pittsburgh Pirates to sweep the Dodgers and get swept at home by Arizona this weekend. I'm just throwing that out there.
It would be.
It really would.
It would be there. And the best I could find was first 5 minus 119, full game minus 114. I wonder if we can beat that here. Yes, I can find first 5 minus 115 and the full game minus 114. Reginald Luker looking at the under full game. I just don't understand why it's going up, why the total is going up. It's going to be enough to make me uncomfortable here. But let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling along. Next up was a line movement I beat up and lit up and fucking smoked. I'm on the full game under 8.5. I got it at minus 105 last night, probably around 1 in the morning. And it hadn't moved when I woke up. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm on the wrong side. And I was worried that it hadn't moved. And then it did move to 8, which had me pumped up. It's at 8 at a pick'em, too. So it actually, I think it's moved 5 cents back. But I like this spot. Now, CT Bays brought up a really important point that the Orioles used two of their best arms out of the pen for over an inning each. And that does make me a little uncomfortable. And looking back at it, I almost doubled up here, but I don't really like doubling up on spots the night before in totals because I don't have the confidence when I can't really see if I'm, a little bit ahead of the market or what. I just don't have enough information with the market at that point. So, but I beat this line move and I feel good about it. Let's talk about the weather over there in Baltimore. Charm City, 10.3 miles per hour in when the game starts, 80 Fahrenheit, and it dies down to 5.2 and 4.5. So it isn't that big of a deal. We go to the line history in this spot here with the Guardians and Orioles. Bieber versus Zimmerman. The Guardians opened up minus 135. They're now minus 150. And from a totals perspective, it opened up at 8.5 and is now at 8. Interesting, though, at 9:30 this morning, the under 8 was at minus 120. So there has been 10 cents of buyback towards the over, which I don't love. Makes me a little less comfortable. Dabby Cab took Cleveland first 5 minus a half.
Yep. And
let's see what we're talking about for the cash flow in this spot here. We have, this is a spot where full line value. So we have two spots, full line value. Washington Nationals, with Bobano's already on, and the Cleveland Guardians here. 85% of the tickets, 96% of the cash on Cleveland and Bieber. 96% of the cash in a 15-cent move. I guess it's not worst case scenario. Then you have 33% of the tickets on the under and 98% of cash on that under. So interesting spot here that I'm pretty confident in at Camden Yards. Bieber, 2-3, 3.19 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 51 Ks and 53 2/3. He's allowed just 4 home runs and 53 2/3. In his last start, 8 innings, 8 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 5 Ks, and an 8-1 win at the Tigers. And Bruce Zimmerman, look, he's been bad of late, but if you look at his season, 4 of his 10 starts have come against the Yankees. His last 2 road starts where he got lit up were in the Bronx and then at Fenway. These are tough places to pitch. And yeah, he got lit up by the Red Sox. 4 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 homers, 2 Ks. He's allowed 9 home runs in his last 2 starts. But the Guardians are hitting 223, 635 OPS versus lefties. I mean, it's a pretty nice position for him to be at and for him to improve his numbers. So Orioles are hitting just 237, 681 OPS versus righties, and both bullpens are so good. The Guardians bullpen 3.15 ERA, 1.07 WHIP, converted 8 of 12. Orioles bullpen 3.19 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, converted 9 of 14. And you could say they're the biggest surprise of the entire season is this Orioles bullpen. Take it away here, Bobano. I'm on the under 8.5 at minus 105. Guardians, Orioles.
Yeah, I'm doubling up on Cleveland here, actually. First 5 plus minus a half plus 100 and full game because I want the bullpen edge. And there is a very, very distinct bullpen edge tonight for Cleveland. It looks like the best we can get with the full game money line is at Pinnacle as well. Minus 144 is what we can get with that. But I'm going to do both. Baltimore's bullpen has been one of the surprise stories of the year from a positive. I mean, they have been very, very strong. No question about that. But that bullpen and Cleveland's overall is very good. Obviously, they've had a good year. A little bump in the road lately, but still overall numbers good. But Baltimore's bullpen shot after last night, really, because of that Seattle game. They used a lot of their key arms. They ended up losing that game 7-6 in extra innings. They only got 5 innings out of Lyles. They got 4.2 innings the night before against Seattle out of Kyle Bradish. They got just 1.1 from Brian Baker. The first game of the Seattle series, 6 from Wells, 4 from Bruce Zimmerman in his last start. Reyes gave him 3.2, 4.1 for Lyles, and that was a doubleheader they played against Boston on the weekend. And then May 27th, Bradish only pitched 1.2 innings. So this team is now going to be playing for the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th straight day with a doubleheader thrown in there, and nobody has pitched more than 6 innings. And all but that one guy, Wells, who pitched 6 innings, has gone no further than 5 innings. This is a shot bullpen. This is an absolutely, taxed bullpen right now for the Baltimore Orioles, and that's a problem for me tonight against Cleveland. And Bieber's been good. And how about this stat line for Shane Bieber against Baltimore? Now, these starts were 3 years ago, so it was a long time ago since he last faced the Baltimore Orioles. But I don't know if you can do better than this. He shut him out in 17 innings. He pitched 8 innings in one start, complete game shutout in the other. He hasn't given up a run in 17 innings to the Baltimore Orioles, no walks and 26 strikeouts in 2 starts against the Baltimore Orioles. How's that for dominance for Shane Bieber against this team? So, and they have the off day, Cleveland as well, coming into this game. So it's a fresh bullpen. So I like Cleveland here. First 5 -0.5 plus 100. First and full game will go -144.
Makes sense. My only regret is not taking the under 4.5. First 5. It's now at 4, and I'm not going to take it there. I'm on the under 8.5 at -105, and everything makes sense here. I don't like the Guardians on the road, but they have their ace on the mound. So Piker, who's been cashing with his wrong hole play of the day. Guardians 19 runs in their last 3 games.
And they're 4-2 this season on the road with Bieber starting Cleveland. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get this spot. A huge amount of money. 96% of the cash on Cleveland. Maybe this is just a real simple play here. A Jedi for Life saying Cleveland can't hit lefties, though. No, they can't. But
that part is a little true, so I'm a little worried about that. But I think even if this game, that's why I'd split it up. Because even if this is like, I could see this being like 1-0. Seriously, I could see this being 1-0 Cleveland. After the first 5 innings, or 2-1 or something like that. They just squeak it out. They just get enough on Zimmerman, and then the floodgates might open. Because I really think Baltimore's bullpen is just, they're spent. I mean, you can't. There's no way you can't be when you look at their schedule the last 7 days or so. And what they've not gotten in terms of innings from their starters every game.
Yeah, you're making me lean towards, but 96% of the cash. I mean, that's just. I mean, at that point, you'd want to see a 40 or 50 cent move. But I guess you have a team that's 11-16 on the road. Now, you made a great point with Bieber being 4-2, or the Guardians being 4-2 on the road when Bieber's on the mound. All right, I'll leave that as a -1 possibility here and think about that a little more. Okay. Piker is also on the under 8, and I love the under 8.5 that I got. I just wish I doubled up and had more confidence in my looks the night before. Okay, let's move on.
Hopefully the floodgates don't open so the under can hit for you. Absolutely. Let's get a 4-3 Cleveland win. We'll all be happy. And a 2-1 lead for Cleveland after the first 5. We'll all be happy.
Yeah, that works for me. Jay Peters says Marlins don't hit lefties either, and they sure as hell beat the Giants with their ace yesterday. Yeah, but it was just 1-0 after 5. Jay, I tripled up on that game and cashed them all, so I was watching it pretty close. Okay, let's rock and move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Tigers 21-30, 6-15 on the road at the New York Yankees, 36-15, 20-7 at home, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Now, Jose Bouquett will be joining us later in the show, and I'd be very interested to see if this is another spot that he wants to attack, because the Yankees and Garrett Cole are his pride and joy to fade. There's nothing makes him happier than to fade Garrett Cole and the New York Yankees, and he now has a rule that any team that's a -300 or more, he will fade. So we'll see if Jose Bouquett is doing that here. Mike Moses says Jose's up. Garrett Cole -360. We will see Jose a little later in the show and see what he's doing here. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Elvin Rodriguez going up against Garrett Cole. We'll start with the weather here in the Bronx. 72 Fahrenheit, 6.3 miles per hour out to left center. It stays around there between 5 and 6.3 throughout the game. Take a look at the line history here in New York. And we have the Yankees opening up at -340. They're now -360, so a 20-cent move. We look at the total. It's opened up at 8, and at 8:53 this morning, it moved to 7.5. So we've dropped a half run. We'll see if the cash follows suit with this. 6,859 tickets in. 16% of the tickets and 22% of the cash on the Tigers. So some bigger bets have come in on them, but the public clearly on the Yankees. Then from a total perspective, 37% of tickets on the over and 66% of cash on the over, and yet it's moved a half run to the under, which is confusing. Elvin Rodriguez. De Niro says he's terrified for Elvin, but he's taking a shot with the Tigers plus 290. Roger, that says facts. Jose has to bet the Tigers. Piker's on the under 7.5 here. Says both these teams trending about 80% to the under in their past 15 games. Eddie Waller says Yankees are off to their best 51-game start since the 114-win 1998 team. Opened 38-13. Noli knows also liking the under in this spot. Mike M looking at Detroit minus 1.5 at plus 440. Elvin Rodriguez's last start, 4 innings, 2 hits, no one runs, 4 Ks, no walks, and a 2-1 win at home versus the Guardians. Cole's last start was a 3-1 loss at the Rays, and he didn't pitch. He pitched well. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 10 Ks, 3 walks. Tigers are hitting 216, 601 OPS versus righties, not hitting him at all. Yankees are hitting 245, 734 OPS versus righties. The Tigers bullpen has been so good this year. 2.83 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 13 of 17 converted save opportunities. Yankees bullpen 3.11 ERA, 1.2 on WHIP, 19 of 26 converted save opportunities. And I had the Tigers first 5 in full game the last 2 days. Went 3-1 on those bets. Nothing I have in this spot. Let's see if Bobano does. Tigers, Yankees, take it away.
That's a huge price in Detroit. I cashed with Detroit against Minnesota a few times, so I like the way they played in that. But Minnesota. We'll get to Minnesota. They're hurting right now. They're not playing good ball. They're banged up. They got tons of injuries. We'll get to them later when they play Toronto. But Detroit played well in that series. But now you're going to New York. It's going to be much tougher. Garrett Cole's been very good of late. There's no question. He had a bit of a shaky beginning to the year, but his last few starts, for the most part, he had a kind of a rough go against the Orioles, but he still had 11 strikeouts in that game. And other than that, 1 run against the Rays, he deserved a better fate. 2 runs in 7 innings against the Orioles, 3 runs in 6.1 innings against the White Sox, 1 run, 5 hits, 6.1 against Texas, shut out the Royals, shut out Cleveland. I mean, he's been really good, Yankees, but you're obviously paying a price for it. So it's a pass for me. I mean, actually, if you want to take a shot with Detroit, I wouldn't say no, but there's a big difference between Minnesota banged up, not playing well, and the Yankees and their ace right now.
Well put. Well put. There's Millsy in the house. Great to see you. Roger, that says there's no history against Elvin. The Yankees aren't ripping the cover off the ball.
Yeah, but Elvin's not been great. I mean, the numbers aren't great for Elvin. I mean, his ERA's not great. He had a couple rough starts. He was better against Cleveland, but come on, Cleveland line up with New York is it's a non-starter. It's a non-comparison. 11
2/3 thus far for Elvin, and he has given up 2 homers. Sorry, I have a Teece up here on my baseball reference as I was taking a good long look at Teece. But let's take a look at Elvin here quickly and just get a little backup on him. 24-year-old out of the Dominican Republic, and we'll take a look at his numbers in the minors this year for Toledo and AAA. 2-1 with a 3.57 ERA, 1.41 WHIP. He has 21 strikeouts and 13 walks. 13 walks in AAA and just 22 2/3. That's dangerous. He has 5 walks and 11 2/3 here in the show. No move for either of us in Tigers, Yankees, and we'll see if Jose moves on it. We move on to 7:07 p.m. Eastern, and I told you guys a little bit off the top. A lot of you know that I've just been betting the Jays blindly every game now for 8 or 9 days, and I decided to take a note out of Ant L and Pistol Pete Loshak's book. I don't want. There have been 1-run wins in this stretch, and I don't want to be sitting here with a run line bet and lose. I would rather lose. I've made so much money off the Jays in the last week and a half that I would rather lose a ballooned minus 171 on the -1. It has gone down to minus 168. Then have a run line bet and have the Jays win by a run and lose it. That would just really upset me right now. So this may be a mistake, and this is the highest spread that at least in the last 10 years, that I've taken. So, and I've watched Ant L. I've watched Twatty Latte. I've watched them produce spectacular records and have no fear of these minus 171s. I've watched Pistol Pete Loshak do the same thing. So I think maybe I'm making... So we'll see. I'll track all this very closely, these high numbers. But I'm on the Blue Jays -1 at minus 171. Kikuch versus Teece. Let's take a look at the weather in Toronto here in this just horrific stadium that fans have to watch baseball in. They had $200 million in upgrades. Come on. Wouldn't that be 10% of a new stadium right there? Couldn't we build a stadium for $2 billion? It's just an atrocity. It just sucks to watch baseball down there. You go down to Comerica and you're like, oh my God, this is what it's supposed to feel like going to a baseball game. 67 Fahrenheit in Toronto, 9 miles per hour, slightly out to right field, but then it becomes straight left to right in the middle innings, and then it goes out to right field again by the end of the game at 8.4 miles per hour. Then we move over to the line history here, and we have these Jays opening up at minus 220. There was a 10-cent move to the Twins. The Jays are still at minus 220 with no movement. This total opened up at 9.5 as a pick'em. There's been a 15-cent move towards the under. Move over to the cash flow in this spot, and we have 4,400 tickets in. 29% of the tickets, 39% of the cash on the Twins, 44% of tickets, 62% of cash on the under. And we see it moving towards the under. There have been plenty of times in this 8-game winning streak where I would not have bet the Jays because of my feeling about the market. This possibly would be another one, but I'm not going to pay any attention to the market because I truly believe the Blue Jays are just that much better. Just that much better. There's Mr. Gokster in the house. Great work, Mr. Gokster last night. First 10 minutes, no goal, at plus 195. Gokster and I swept the board in NHL. In AAA, St. Paul, Teece went 2-2 with a 3.43 ERA, 1.26 whip. He pitched well, and he deserves this opportunity. And I love seeing these older pitchers go down to the minors and fight back up. 35 Ks and 36 2/3, 14 walks, just 3 home runs allowed. In 2021, he was a disaster for Colorado. 3-7, 6.46 ERA, 1.53 whip, just 56 strikeouts in 101 2/3. He allowed 18 home runs in the 101 2/3. Kikuch has looked pretty good this year. 2-1, 3.48 ERA, 1.35 whip, but 24 walks is way too many. He's only allowed 4 home runs, though. His last start, 6-5 win at the Angels, 5 innings, 9 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 4 Ks, 1 walk. Timmy, the dad, is on the Jays money line. Twins versus lefties, 245, 701 OPS. Jays versus righties, 240, 714 OPS. Watch that number climb. Every day I say that number, it's going to climb and climb and climb because you have Teoscar hitting. You have Kirk hitting. Don't forget, Lourdes Gurriel and Alejandro Kirk were the bottom 10 in the entire league with runners in scoring position. This team is hitting, and they're going to keep hitting. Jay's bullpen has been poor, 3.83 ERA, 1.23 whip, converted 21 of 31. The Twins bullpen, 3.68 ERA, 1.26 whip, converted 13 of 20. If this Jays team is really going to make a run all the way, they're going to need reinforcements. They're going to need a bunch of different moves come trade deadline time. There are a ton of holes in this team, but this young talent is superlative. Take it away here, Bobano. I'm on the Jays, and it's very expensive. -1 to -171. Twins, Jays, take it away.
Yeah, I'm on Toronto full game -1, -122 is
Whoa.
what I am. Or no, sorry, that's sorry, no. I should correct myself here. Not full game -1. I'm on first. I believe first 5 -1 is actually what it is. Yeah, first 5 -1. Let me just see. I'm on first 5 -1. I went that route instead because I want to target Teece. Actually, man. I'm going to split it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Blue Jays -1, -122 at Pinnacle, first 5, and I'm going to do -1.5, -108 full game.
Okay.
Run line as well because I want the bullpen part of it because Minnesota's short-handed. They don't have their closer. Emilio Pagan, Caleb Thielbar's out as well. They're on restricted lists. They can't come to this Toronto for this series because they're unvaccinated. Same with Max Kepler. So there's a bunch of Twins that are not going to be available here for them. Teece should have stayed in AAA. Like, come on, man. Seriously? I mean, stay down there, dominate, do your thing, own that league. You're going to come up here and you're going to do what you always do, get shelled. I mean, I'm being serious here. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to tell it like it is. This guy has not been able to pitch at the major league level for 5 years now. What's going to change now all of a sudden? 8.71 ERA, 2016 with Texas. 5.29 ERA, 2019 with Colorado. 6.86 ERA 2020 with Colorado, 6.46 ERA 2021 with Colorado. I mean, go stay down there, do your thing, get Pitcher of the Year award in AAA, whatever the fuck they give out there at the AAA level, and do your thing down there. It's not going to happen for you here at the major league, especially now against a Blue Jays lineup that's rolling again. Teoscar's feeling it. Vladimir's starting to get out of his slump. Guerrero, it's been absolutely amazing to see everybody start to, even freaking Biggio has come up with a couple of big hits lately for the Toronto Blue Jays. So I'm going to go with the run line split here. First 5 -1, -122, and a full game -1.5, -108. And I trust Kikuchi enough. Like, is Kikuchi great? No. He's been up, he's been down. But the Twins are banged up. They got missing pieces for this series. They haven't played good baseball of late. They're only 3-7 in their last 10 games. They just lost. They had played 5 games with Detroit, and they lost 4 of them. Not playing good ball coming into this series. And I think Toronto's bet on or pass for me right now. They're rolling, and when it's a team on a hot streak, a win streak, I bet the streak or I leave it alone.
Yeah, Matt Pollan's laughing at me for taking the juice associated with the -1. I've cashed on the Blue Jays 8 of the last 9 days. The only day I didn't cash was an off day. And I just want to I just don't want a one-run game, which has happened a few times on this run, to create a loss for me. And we'll see if this blows up my face. Look, I'm not going to make much money. I added $50 to it. That's it. I haven't changed the unit size of 150. I just moved it to 200 because of this. I thought about this for a long time, and we will see if this was a mistake. Again, it's the highest spread I've taken in at least 10 years. But let me reiterate, I've watched cappers. We're always learning and trying to be better. I've watched cappers, Peter Loshak, Ant L, Twali Latte. I have no fear about taking these big favorites. So Eddie Euler says Blue Jays lead the MLB in one-run games. We'll see. I'll keep a very close eye on it. Matt Pollan says, I ain't laughing at you. It's all, I don't take any offense, Matt, even if you were. We are evolving as a group, and our capping is improving every day, and you see it. You see with the wins coming in, you see us cashing across all sports. You see it all at work, and we're never-ending battle to get better.
It's supposed to pay off for you in the long run if you put in the time and the work that I think we all do. It's supposed to be that way, and some days it's not going to be, but long term it is supposed to be that way if you keep putting in the hard work. Yeah,
and I love it, and I love working with you guys. All right, let's move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. This was the easiest bet on the board, and I don't want to get too overwhelmed with one because a lot of baseball's weighted coin flips, but this wasn't to me. I kind of despise Vince Velasquez, and it's not fair. There's nothing wrong with his character. He's probably a nice guy, but I had with you, Bobano, and with others in Miami, I had Vince Velasquez first 5 live with all the guys, and they were up 8-1 in the 4th inning, and Velasquez let the Marlins go off, and I lost my first 5 -0.5, and it was shocking. It was like I was gonna buy my whole row of beer, and he fell apart. And I've always just disliked his stuff, and maybe I'm getting a little like I'm emoting a bit why I want to fade Velasquez, but this is just too easy for me. Rays first 5 -0.5 at -130. We're at Tropicana. We have Shane McClanahan, who's been so good. He's been so good. 5-2, 2.01 ERA, 0.91 WHIP, 81 Ks and 12 walks. I mean, that is a K to walk ratio right there, unless you're Kevin Gausman. Last start, he went 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, a solo shot, 7 Ks, no walks, and a 4-2 win at home versus the Yankees. When he's on the mound, the Rays win. White Sox versus righties, 230, 624 OPS. They have no Tim Anderson. They have Moncada back now. Eloy Jimenez, is he already back? Or he's probably back from his rehab assignment. He's been on a rehab assignment. The Rays are only hitting 226, 669 OPS for righties. White Sox bullpen's been terrible. We thought it was going to be good. Rays bullpen's always good. So let's take a look at the line history right here, and then the cash flow, and then hand it over. And let's see if there's anything else I can do to bring in more money off of this spot. There has been a slight move towards the White Sox. I mean, the Rays have gone from minus 200 to minus 192. So that's a little uncomforting. This total hasn't moved off the minus 120 to the over 7. And then we have 7,900. So this is nerve-wracking. Maybe it's good I'm only on the first 5. 85% of the tickets, 97% of the cash on Tampa, and a slight move towards the White Sox. That's not good. That makes me nervous. 56% of the tickets on the over, 51% cash on the over. Take it away, Bobano. White Sox Rays.
I am right alongside you in a lot of instances here. With this is one of those games where I went sprayed the board on it a little bit. We ended up going with the -0.5, minus 130. I believe. Let me see if that's still the current price though. With that, just want to double check. But that's exactly what I took earlier as well. -0.5. Yeah, minus 130. Because I bet it at Pinnacle, and it's still minus 130 there at Pinnacle. I'm on the Rays team total as well. Here. I decided to jump in with that as well. Rays team total. That one is a pretty good number here in this one. You can get, it is over 3.5 minus 143 at Pinnacle. So I'm on the Rays team total as well. And I'm also on the full game over actually as well. So it's 3 bets here for me. 3 bets here for me with this game. Rays first 5. -0.5 minus 130. Rays team total over 3.5 minus 143 and over 7 minus 120. I think this is all about Velasquez. And look, he's gone over. By the way, his starts have gone over in 4 of the last 6, each of the last 2. He's been absolutely drilled in the last 2 starts. 11 runs and 10 innings of work. 10 runs for the Yankees. 4 runs by the Royals. They got shut down after Velasquez left the game. But Velasquez gave up 4 and 6 hits in 5 innings. I don't trust him at all. And the bullpen for the White Sox, you mentioned it. That's part of the equation here with this full game over because they have been pouring gasoline on the fire late in games. We've seen that repeatedly. Hell, we saw it yesterday coming to the rescue of Blue Jays run line bettors late in that game with that White Sox bullpen. So I like the full game over. I think it gets there. Tampa Bay probably does most of the damage. They probably get 5, 6. They could even get at least 4 for the team total. But White Sox have a chance with that offense too, and getting Eloy back probably to chip in some runs themselves. I mean, it's a very tough lineup to shut down completely. So as much as I like McClanahan and I like the Rays pen, I think the White Sox will get at least enough. And the total's only 7. If this is 8, 8.5, 9, I don't touch the over here. But it's only 7, and I think the Rays will do a lot of damage.
So you are locked in. We're both on the Rays first 5 -0.5 minus 130. Babano's also on the over 7 at minus 116, and the Rays team total over 3.5 minus 143. Piker saying sharp money on the White Sox. Stay away. It concerns me very, very much that all this money is on the Rays and the slight move towards the White Sox. It makes me very nervous about my action. Very nervous. But I'm in. And Velasquez, it wouldn't be the first time that he is sharpened a chopstick and stabbed me in the larynx. We move on to 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Mariners 22-29, 10-19 on the road at the Texas Rangers 24-26, 12-14 at home. We're at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Logan Gilbert, I want to back here. He had a couple starts that weren't so glorious, and his last start was beautiful. At home, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no homers, 5 Ks, no walks, a 6-year win at home over the Astros. And it's just the road. He's been a little less dominant, and it was enough to give me pause and want to talk this out. He's got a 2.29 ERA, 1.03 whip on the year. Dane Dunning, 1-3, 4.31 ERA, 1.38 whip, 54 1/3, 56 Ks, 20 walks, 6 home runs. In his last start, he went 4 1/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned. No homers, 5 Ks, 3 walks, a 6-5 loss at the A's. Mariners rating 248, 715 OPS versus righties. Rangers 229, 647 OPS. The Mariners bullpen's been absolutely atrocious. They've converted just 7 of 14 saves with a 4.34 ERA, 1.25 whip. This Rangers bullpen 3.47 ERA, 1.25 whip. I've converted 11 of 17 save opportunities. Let's take a look at the line history here and then figure out how to attack this properly. How have I lost this? I don't know what the hell I did with the. What did I do? I've lost. Okay. I don't know how I've lost all these things. Something must have deleted. So why don't we hear? I'm going to bring up the line history in a second. I've got to bring up these sites again. I don't know what the hell happened. Did you make a move on this spot, Bobano?
This one's I like Logan Gilbert a lot. He's not someone I'm looking to bet against necessarily. Seattle, though, the bullpen's a little concerning coming into this series. Dunning has not been great, but he's been actually a little bit better at home. And 2 of the last 3 starts have been okay for him. He's pitched okay against the Angels, pitched all right against the Oakland A's, but he did get roughed up by the Angels in the May 24th start. Against the Mariners, he's given up 5 runs in 9 innings against them, 1 loss, 1 win. The win coming in Texas when he did pitch well against them. Gilbert on the mound for the Mariners here. He kind of went through a little bit of, not a rough patch, but they weren't winning with him. And he did face Tampa, Toronto, Boston, some pretty good teams. Did shut out Houston very impressively in his last start, 2.04 road ERA. They're 4-2 in his road starts. However, Texas is 4-1 in Dane Dunning's 5 home starts. So something to factor in here. And I like the way Texas played earlier this week in that series against Tampa Bay. I do. I know even though they only got the split and they kind of blew the third game where they could have won it, they played pretty well in that series. And they're playing pretty well overall right now. 6-4 their last 10 games. And you could argue they, maybe pissed away 2 of those games against Tampa. Otherwise, they could have won 3 of 4 or even swept Tampa, believe it or not, in those 4 games. So it's Seattle for me if I had to get involved. But Texas is playing good ball right now. And I don't like that Mariners bullpen one little bit. And they're coming off using a lot of arms in that Baltimore series. So lean Seattle, but I ultimately, even for me as a high volume bettor, I said, I've got enough other things I'm interested in today, so I'm going to leave this one alone.
Those last 2 road starts that Gilbert had, I guess I'm being hard on him. It was 3-0 loss at the Jays. It was a quality start, 7 innings, 3 earned runs, and an 8-4 extra inning loss at Boston, but it was another quality start from him. He did allow 2 home runs, but just 3 earned runs overall. The big bets have come in on the Texas Rangers. There's been a 10-cent move towards them. And not only that, with just 3,291 tickets in, you have I take that back.
Yeah, extra innings in Baltimore. Your bullpen was used a lot. There's no day off, and you're traveling to Texas. That's a negative spot just from a situational standpoint for Seattle.
Absolutely. I was looking at the total there. So 27% of the tickets, 30% of the cash on Texas. So we don't have really huge bets coming in on them at all. 59% of tickets, 74% of cash on the under in this spot. Matt Paulin says Mariners just can't string together wins. So if we think these bats are possibly going to be quiet, maybe tired, we think that Gilbert's capable of having a decent road start because this is an easier lineup to face, hitting 229, 647 OPS than the last 2 road starts he had, and then he was lights out at home. We think Dunning can be good at home. Does that bring you any
I know where you're going. First 5 under.
Yeah. To that first 5 under. It's a 4. It's at 4. That's a bit of a problem. Let's go over to Ballpark Pal and see what they're.
I actually did, and I'm not an under guy, but I did bet one with the White Sox and the Cubs. I believe it was last weekend, and I think it was Stroman and Cueto on the mound, and I got the hooker under 4.5, and that's why it won, because there were 4 runs after the first 5 innings. So I know what you mean. 4 to 4.5 is a big difference.
It is a big difference, but look at what Ballpark Pal's telling us here. For home runs today, minus 12%. For extra base hits, minus 17%. And for runs in general, minus 10%. So Oakland Coliseum and Globe Life Field are both playing. No park in the entire card is playing as negatively for offense as Globe Life Field is today. I'm going to add the first 5 under 4. It's a pick'em, and I will be adding this to my card here with Dunning and Mariners. Why don't we just take one last look before I completely dive into this? Let's just take one last look at the batter versus pitcher. I don't even know they're divisional rivals. There shouldn't be too much history, but there's enough here. Cole Calhoun 1 for 2, Culberson 1 for 2, Adolis 4 for 12. Is he hurt? Isn't he hurt? Let me just go to the lineups here. Man, let me pull this up very quickly. Sorry, I just if I'm going to move on this, I guess I could just do all this work, but I don't tell you that I'm going to do this, make this bet if I get cold feet. So, do they expect him in the lineup here? No, he's hurt. So I don't need to worry about that. This is a pretty weak Texas expected lineup with all the injuries that they're facing. So, yeah, this is what I got to worry about. Nate Lowe. I think this is Seager 1 for 3. I think that Gilbert's going to be fine. Then the concern would be Dunning, because these guys get to Dunning, but that would be the biggest concern here. Roger that says Texas all the way. Matt Paulin says Mariners 0-7 in road games following a road win. Eddie, we're looking at Seager for a home run at plus 310. Okay, I'm going to move on that first 5 under 4 minus 110 for Mariners Rangers. Let's move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Houston Astros 33-18, 19-12 on the road at the Kansas City Royals, who've been very disappointing this year. 16-33, 8-15 at home. We're at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. We'll start with the weather in Kansas City here. 79 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 7.3 miles per hour to left center, and it dies down to about 5. So weather not really an issue in this pitcher's park in Kansas City. Then let's take a look at the – sorry, let me move this over here. Let's take a look at the line history in Kansas City. Just 4 games to go after this one. Houston, there's been a 10-cent move to the Kansas City Royals. Royals opened up plus 125, and now plus 115. And same can be said about the Astros, minus 145 to minus 135, respectively. From a total perspective, it opened up at 8.5, and it moved to 9. It moved to 9, but an hour ago moved back to 8.5. So it's right back at 8.5. We'll take a look at the cash flow in this spot. Urquidy versus Singer, 8,524 tickets in. Listen to this, 19. So this is the 10-cent move. 19% of the tickets are on Kansas City, but 43% of the cash. 69% of the tickets, 68% of cash on that under. Here we go. Urquidy, 4-2, 4.80 ERA. Has not looked good of late and did not look good in his last start at Seattle. 4 2/3, 12 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 2 walks. They have a problem here. He's allowed 8 home runs in 45 innings. He's a 1.58 whip. Brady Singer may be very good. It's possible that he's a very, very good pitcher. 2-0, 2.49 ERA, 0.99 whip. His K to walk ratio is spectacular at 26-4. He's only allowed 2 home runs in 25 1/3. He's coming off a 7-3 win at the Twins. 5 2/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 8 Ks, no walks. Astros are 237, 723 OPS versus righties. The Royals are 237, 668. And then the problem here is the bullpen. The Astros bullpen is the best in the league. The Kansas City Royals bullpen is allowing 2.3 more runs, 2.36 more runs per 9 innings. Can you believe that number? I mean, that is
heinous. Yeah, terrible.
2.36 more runs per 9 innings this Kansas City bullpen is allowing. I mean, this Astros bullpen's best in the league. 2.43 ERA, 1.10 whip, converted 14 of 17. Take it away here. I'm very interested in this one now. All of a sudden, Astros Royals.
I'm doing it with Kansas City, first 5. That's it. I want no part of this bullpen. Any Kansas City bet right now, that's not the full game deal with me with this group right now, not with that pen. But I do like what I'm seeing a little bit from Singer. And I know, it's not like people are going to be rushing to bet Kansas City. They just got swept by Cleveland, but they've got a guy that's pitching really well on the mound. And we've seen the Astros at times, particularly on the road, scuffle offensively. They did hit Irvin against Oakland. They did hit Blackburn, which was kind of surprising because Blackburn's been phenomenal. He's been one of my bet-on pitchers, the pitcher I've made the most money with. He's actually the most profitable pitcher in baseball this year, Paul Blackburn. But you also saw this Houston team, shut down by Montas, shut down by Marco Gonzalez. That's a bad look. Shut down by Gilbert, shut out by Gilbert of Seattle, shut down by Flexen, who's kind of been roughed up this year and only scored 1 run. This Houston lineup, for as good as they are, they've had spots where they've been, neutralized. And Brady Singer's pitching good enough maybe to neutralize them right now. I like what I've seen. He's got great pop with his pitches right now. He's getting swings and misses. It's really, really going to be good to see that from him. And I think in the first 5 innings, Kansas City's live here. And you mentioned Urquidy. He's not pitching well right now. for the Houston Astros. Now, Royals have never faced Urquidy, but you got to look at the last 3 starts, and in 2 of them, Boston and Seattle just got bombed. And how do you give up 12 hits in 5 innings to Boston, 12 hits in 4.2 innings to Seattle? I mean, 11 runs, 30 hits, 11 runs and 30 hits allowed by Urquidy last 3 starts, and that's only over 16 innings. That's alarming right there. So I think it's a live dog here in the first 5 innings. So that's what I'm going with, Royals first 5.
I like it. You can get plus 105 at Pinnacle.
Yep.
Just plus 100 at Bet365. But this makes a ton of sense to me. Puzzler also on Kansas City first 5. Eddie Euler leaning towards the Astros Royals under. I kind of lean towards that under as well. Would it be nice to grab it once it got to 9? But I think the edge is on the Royals first 5 with Bobano. This wasn't initially going to be a part of my card. I'm going to add it here. If you look at the Royals here, they're plus 115 full game at Bet365, but just plus 100 on the first 5. It tells me they're live and dangerous.
It also tells me everybody thinks what we think. Their bullpen is absolute horse shit, which it is.
And Noli No says Royals are the new Reds right now, 2-10 over there.
They're not playing well. It's not a cinch. I mean, Houston's the much better team. There's no question. But I mean, starting pitching wise, I'd rather have Singer right now. That's not even a question.
I wonder if that first 5 under 4.5 is live.
By the way, Singer last year, 2 starts against Houston. Okay, the start in Houston wasn't great. They lost 4-0. He gave up 4 runs, 7 hits, 5 hits. Worth noting, one of those runs was earned. 4 runs, only 1 earned run allowed by Singer in that start in Houston. And then the start here in Kansas City, Royals won that game with Singer on the mound against the Astros, and he gave up 2 runs, 6 hits, and 6.2 innings. Pitched very well. Royals won that game 3-2. So not bad numbers for Singer. 2 starts against Houston last year.
Yeah, I'd like this. I'm not going to bother with that first 5 under 4.5. I like this. Royals first 5 is a move I'm going to make. Let's move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. San Diego Padres 30-21, 17-11 on the road at the Milwaukee Brewers. 33-20, 15-6 at home. American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have Musgrove going up against Corbin Burns. 2 pitchers with really nice statistics here. Let's see if Milwaukee's roof will be open for this, or partially open, or however they do. 72 Fahrenheit, 9.5 miles per hour to left center. It will be. It's beautiful in Milwaukee. But the weather dies down heavy, too. So opens at 9.5. Within an hour, it's down to 3.4. So let's not get too carried away with the weather. We'll move over to the line history in this spot. The total opened up at 7. It's moved to 6.5, and that it did that last night at 8:20. And there's been a 15-cent move to Corbin Burns and the Brew Crew. Real Deal Prime liking his boy Corbin Burns in this spot. Musgrove 5-0, 1.86 ERA, 0.98 WHIP, 58 Ks in 58 innings, 11 walks, 4 home runs. He's been very good. Last out was a loss at home to the Pirates. He went 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, 2 walks. He was very good. Corbin Burns coming off an 8-0 win at the Cardinals. I beat myself up for not backing him. I knew that in a division spot like this, he would wake up and find his old self, and that's what he did. 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 11 Ks, 1 walk. Padres are not hitting at all. And looking at that Brewers lineup, I was like, how do they possibly have a 243, 744 OPS versus righties? It's just a bunch of 200 hitters, but they came together for me in the bottom of the 9th and caught me the cash. Padres just 220, 642. Brewers 243, 744. Padres bullpen 3.88 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, converted 19 of 29. This Brewers bullpen 3.52 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, have converted 23 of 30. Eddie Euler looking at the Padres Brewers first 5 under. Euro Morpheus losing the under 8.5 was. I felt, it was one of those strange wins for me where I felt bad. I knew that CMAC Euro Morpheus was also, he gave the under out a full game here on the show, and Bobano is on the Padres.
I forgot that loss, too. It's not just the San Diego Padres losing, the money line failing. It's the under, too. Oh, that's horrible if you had under 8.5. Oh, my goodness. Brutal. Terrible.
Yeah, it was It was, I don't know.
Fucking Taylor Rogers, man. Fuck that guy. That's what I was thinking after last night.
Couldn't even get an out.
Yeah.
Couldn't even get an out. Okay, here we go. Padres Brew Crew here. We have this move to the Milwaukee Brewers. I know that you and a few others are angry about what happened yesterday. Do you have any interest in getting involved in this?
Pass. That's all. I have nothing here. I like both guys. They're in good form right now. Musgrove's he's bet on right now. Burns is bet on. Easy pass.
And so the roof's open and the wind's going out. So there's an 11% plus 11% home run rate, as Ballpark Pal says. The extra base hits and runs are pretty much even here. Raven and Desert says under 9 at Will Hill. I don't know what game you're talking. Must be talking about a different spot here. Maybe you're talking about I think he's talking about the Astros game. Padres Brewers. I mean, how do these pitchers not just shut down the opposition? I mean, I don't see how it's not a first 5 under. I mean, the question is, at what price do you want to pay for a first 5 under? -3, under 3.5 and -125. Is that just way too juiced?
That is for a 3.5. Does feel like it could be 1-1, 1-0, 2-1 though after 5. I'd lean that way.
We have Teece coming on our show here after we discuss NBA. So Teece will be here giving us a best bet in WNBA right after we discuss Game 2 of the NBA Finals. We have a couple games left here. I don't see how these batters looked so bad yesterday. They looked so bad until a freak bottom of the 9th. I don't know how Corbin Burns and Musgrove don't just walk right through these two lineups. I think I have to add an under 3.5, but I don't want to. I wonder what would it cost. Maybe let's see how much. Is there a deal here if I build my own 3? Maybe that's a better way to do it. With the under 2.5 plus 145. No, it's not really. You get a slight plus line. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, I don't see how these offenses have any chance. There's just no power in these sticks. But Raven Desert says the umpire 7-4 to the over. Eddie Oiler saying that under 3's up plus 113. Maybe I should. I'll take some more time on this. Okay, we have 3 games left. 3 games left here on the card. Next up, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta Braves 25-27, 11-13 on the road at the Colorado Rockies. 23-28, 16-13 at home. Bobano had a great score on overs in this game yesterday. We're in Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. We'll start with the weather in Colorado. It is 79 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 6.8 miles per hour, right to left. It goes up to about 10, but it's always going to stay right to left, so not a big issue there weather-wise. We go over to the line history in this Rockies spot. We have the 10-cent move to the Braves. They opened up at -165. They're now -175. This total opened up at 11, and twice it's gone to 11.5. And each time it's gone back to 11. Take a look at the cash in this one. And we have 7,590 tickets in. 36% of the tickets, 56% of the cash on the Rockies and their ability to hit lefties, even though Max Fried's a good one. And then 66% of tickets on the under, but just 49% of cash on that under. By the way, I don't know if I went over the numbers here in the cash in this Padres Brewers spot, but they've added some line value to some of these squads, and they've taken the line value off of Bieber. They've taken the line value off of Bieber, which is interesting. They switched that up. They do have half line value on Musgrove now and the Padres. 27% of tickets, 38% cash on the Padres, 47% of tickets, 46% cash on the over. That's interesting. And then, as I said, there's big bets coming in on these Colorado Rockies. 36% of tickets, 56% of cash, and legitimate bets coming in on the over, and it's going from 11.5 to 11. Let's talk about the Rockies. 310, 838 OPS versus lefties. They smash them. Will that make Fried vulnerable here? He's coming off a nice start. 6-3 win at home versus the Marlins. He went 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot. 5 Ks, 3 walks. His 3.10 ERA, 1.10 whip. Chad Kuhl has been good this year. 3.56 ERA, 1.27 whip. A trustworthy pitcher here for the Rockies, although the K to walk ratio is probably not where he wants it at 38 and 18. Last start, 6 1/3, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, 1 walk, and a 3-2 win at the Nats. The Braves bullpen is 1.94 runs better per 9 innings than the Rockies. Maybe the thin air has something to do with that. The back end of the Rockies bullpen, which we've talked about quite a bit here, has been really good. Converted 15 and 21 saves, been better than the Braves back end. Noli knows on the first 5 under 6.5. Take it away here, Bobano. Braves, Rockies.
Yeah, for me, it's hard to bet right now this Colorado team at home under, but and I've been on the overs. I'm not on the over tonight because Max Fried is a guy I like. Max Fried did have a terrific start. The one start he had at Coors Field a few years ago, probably as good as you can pitch in this ballpark if you're an opposing pitcher. 1 run, 5 hits, 6 innings, held the Rockies to 1 run. So there is a body of work here that at least in one start, Max Fried came in here and pitched extremely well for the Braves. And he's pitching well right now. He's given up just 6 runs in the last 3 starts, 18 innings. He's pitching well. And Cool, I don't really love his stuff, but he's been all right this year. 3.56 ERA, his home ERA 4.41, not horrible. And he has pitched well the last 2 starts against Washington and Pittsburgh. Maybe you could say weaker lineups, but he's pitched well. And he actually hasn't pitched that badly against Atlanta in the past either. Last year he faced them as a member of the Pirates. He only gave up 1 run in 6 innings. And Pirates won that game 2-1. So Cool shut down this Braves lineup last year when he faced them. So with what's going on right now, the way the ball's flying in that ballpark, I'm not interested in an under, but there's enough factors that keep me off and over here. So it's a pass.
Yeah, you have to have big old balls to bet the under after what we've seen in the thin air. But Noli has those balls. He's on the first 5 under 6.5. I'm going to stay off here. There's enough uncomfort. But it feels like there's some value with the Colorado Rockies here.
Plus, put it this way. The over last night with the Braves and the Rockies, the reason I was on that was I didn't trust Ian Anderson in the thin air of Mile High. And sure enough, he struggled. And I definitely didn't trust the struggling and the reeling Gomber for the Rockies. And I think this is probably a better pitching matchup. I think this is a better pitching matchup than that one.
Yeah, I think I get why the big bets have come in on the Rockies in this spot. And I feel like plus 160, I guess Fried's just quality. But look at the way the Rockies are lacing lefties.
They are. Yeah, they are. That's why I was leaning over because of that too. Yeah, the lefty precision for the Rockies. Pretty quality lefty, but they're hitting lefties of all kinds right now.
The Braves don't hit righties. Why should I have that much concern, even though, I mean, we have a pitcher in Chad Kuhl who's pitching very well right now.
Shut down the Braves last year.
I just think that the implied probability means that I have to make this bet at plus 165. And I will. I'll be on the Rockies first 5 at plus 165.
All right, cool bet for not the sports book. Cool bet as in the Rockies here. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We move on to 9:40 p.m. Eastern. That is an addition on my card. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Boston Red Sox at Oakland Athletics. And we have arrived at Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day. It is these Boston Red Sox. All right. And when we are done MLB here after these next 2 games, we'll bring on Jose to hear what he likes in MLB as well. And, well, we really just want to know if he's moving against Garrett Cole and wants to make that official. 9:40 p.m. Eastern, Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today on the Red Sox. Red Sox 11-13 on the road. A's just 7-20 at home. We're at Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. I have interest in Oakland. 58 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 9.2 miles per hour out to right, but we know the weather swirls out there, and it's kind of cool in Oakland this evening. We'll move over to the line history in this spot. We have the total opening up at minus 120 to the over. There at one point was a 15-cent move to the under, but it's come back, and it's right where it started, minus 120 to the over. Then we have a 15-cent move to the Red Sox. There was a 25-cent move to them. It's come back. So it's minus 160 to plus 140. We'll go over to the cash flow in this one. We have slight line value to Caprillion and the A's. 9,179 tickets in. Just 10% of the tickets on the A's, 14% of cash. 54% of tickets, 50% of cash on the under. Nate Eovaldi, 2-2, 3.77 ERA, 1.12 whip, 57 and a third, 59 Ks, just 9 walks, and 16 home runs. 16 home runs he's allowed. And he just went a full 9 at home versus the Orioles. I'm going to pull up his pitch count, or if anybody can go grab his, I'll pull it up anyways when Bobano's talking about 9 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were in, 1 homer, 6 Ks. Caprillion, 5.93 ERA, 1.35 whip. Look, I don't want to trust Caprillion under any circumstances. And that's kept me off of this. This Red Sox bullpen, 3.91 ERA, 1.21 whip, have converted just 8 of 20 save opportunities. And this A's team versus righties, just 206, 588, the worst in the entire league. Take it away here, Bobano, Red Sox, A's.
Yeah, I probably won't bet it. I probably won't. I don't trust Caprillion at all for Oakland. I can tell you that. But he actually shut down the Red Sox last year. 2 starts, 2 runs, and 12 innings against them. Pitched extremely well. Actually, just shut him down essentially. But his recent form's been pretty poor. 9 runs in the last 9.1 innings against Seattle and Texas. In his last 2 starts, which isn't great. And Eovaldi is the better pitcher. I think so anyway. I know he's not had a great year so far, 3.77 ERA, but he's been good on the road, 2.97. Yeah, a lot of home runs allowed. Keep in mind, one of those games that he started against Houston, he gave up 5 home runs. So that's skewing those home run stats just a little bit. But still, it is concerning how much of the long ball Eovaldi's given up this year. There's no question about that. I lean Boston initially. Like I say, I don't think Caprilion's someone with his form. I don't. And 7.71 ERA at the Coliseum, which isn't good either for what's supposed to be a pitcher-friendly environment. But he did shut down Boston last year, and I keep going back to that. And I think, is this just a good matchup for him, or is this just a bad one for Boston facing this guy? Because Caprillion didn't just beat him last year; he shut him right down. So at the end of the day, with my thoughts going back and forth on this game, it's a pass.
And Eovaldi's come from, he threw 108 pitches. He threw 101 just a couple starts ago. And Eovaldi's been much better on the road, 2.97 ERA. Opponents hitting just 202 against him at home, 294. So that's enough to make me lose interest. Eddie Euler leading Oakland team total over 1.5 first 5 at plus 116. And Eric Jones says, got to ask why that total is at 7. Yeah, you're right. Expecting a nice pitching performance. Obviously, let me just look at this once more. The cash, yeah, just the coin flip on the total and all this money on Boston. I'm not comfortable doing that. And I'm not really comfortable with Eovaldi, but maybe this is I don't know. Maybe this offense is, they're not hitting again, but maybe this offense is so much better than the A's offense that they should be trusted. But if that much money's on them and there's been a 10-cent move back, okay. And my initial thought was maybe Eovaldi can get touched here on the road. Okay, let's talk about the last game on the card here. 10:10 p.m. Eastern. New York Mets 35-18, 16-10 on the road at the LA Dodgers 34-17, 16-8 at home. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. We have Chris Bassett going up against Tyler Anderson here in LA. Echo Park Boulevard, 65 Fahrenheit, 5.7 miles per hour out to right center. Goes down to 4.5 and 3.5 miles per hour. I've been telling stories of when I was egged on Echo Park Boulevard, very close to Chavez Ravine. And I was remembering it now. My buddy who was down there, it was pilot season, and he was down there as well. He thought it was so funny that I got egged. Everybody laughed at me for getting egged, and especially when I told them that they didn't hide themselves, that there was no hiding going on. They just egged, and then they stared at me. So he gave me a rape whistle. I'll never forget it. Big orange rape whistle, and they all laughed in my face. And many funny jokes came out of the rape whistle. Very R-rated jokes, and I have gotten a little bit of trouble for some of the R-rated things I've said on this show of late. Not from
Sounds like an amazing experience. Yeah.
It was. It was. I'll give one terrible line out that I remember saying to the guys that because they were just all over me, just making fun of me and all stuff. I did tell them that it was hard to blow a whistle with a cock in your mouth, and that did get some laughter from the guys. But it was just me getting made fun of over and over again. Bassett versus Tyler Anderson here. Let's break it down. 65 Fahrenheit, 5.7 miles per hour out to right field. We'll take a look at the line history here. And then I would tell them that it says that on the box. That's just a known thing. Everybody knows that. It's hard to blow a whistle with a cock in your mouth. The Dodgers open up at minus 165. They go down to minus 155, a 10-cent move towards the New York Mets. Total opens up at 8.5, and it's moved to 8. It moved to 8 at 8:06 in the 8:06 this morning. Then we take a look at the cash flow in this spot here. We have, let me pull this up here. Bassett, Anderson, they have slight line value on the Mets, 6,556 tickets in. 40% of the tickets, 68% of the cash on the Mets. 61% of the tickets, 77% of the cash on the under. And here we go. Dodger Stadium, Bassett coming off a nice start. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 7 Ks, 3 walks, and a 5-4 extra inning win at home versus the Phillies. Chris Bassett's minor league baseball coach, our very own Matty Ice, star of the Taint play of the day. Tyler Anderson, the lefty, 6-0, 2.90 ERA, 1.01 whip, coming off a really nice start at the Diamondbacks. 6 innings, 5 hits, no earned run, 6 Ks, 1 walk. Mets hitting 248, 713 versus lefties. Dodgers hitting 255, 780 OPS versus righties, and both bullpens have been very good, except for the back end of the Mets bullpen. Just 14 of 23 converted saves. Take it away here, Bobano. Mets, Dodgers, last game on the card.
Yeah, unfortunately, we thinned out my card because the last few games, I'm not really involved much with them, including this one. I don't really have a strong thought. I mean, Tyler Anderson's pitching well, but the Mets hit lefties well, so I'm conflicted there. I don't want to go against a guy like Anderson, though, that's given up 2 runs in his last 21 innings. I mean, it's very impressive work that we've seen from him the last 3 starts. But the Mets have hit lefties well. Bassett had a really bad start against the Giants, but you throw that one out. He's actually, both of his really bad starts have been against the Giants this year. If you take out 2 San Francisco outings for Chris Bassett, he's been just terrific, in every other start that he's made. He did have a poor showing, though, against the Dodgers last year. 4 runs, 9 hits, 6 innings. I'd lean a little to the Dodgers here. I know they had a rough series against the Pirates, but they bounced back. They shut out the Mets in the series opener last night, 2-0, winning that game. You're talking about a Mets team that now Frankie Lindor, with this, it could only happen to the Mets that this guy gets injured in the fashion that he does, jammed right middle finger. And now all of a sudden his status day-to-day is in question, but only the Mets could have that happen to them. But nevertheless, I think Dodgers, I'd lean that way. But again, you're talking minus 150 or so. But I'll throw out a lean to the Dodgers. I won't be betting it.
Yeah, an interesting, important point being brought up here by our guy Jedi for life. Says humidity goes from 70 to 80%. Ballpark Pal has plus 14% home runs. Both teams trend to the over. How do you not take the over here? Mets should get at least 4 by themselves. 8 is a gift.
Yet the total's dropped 8.5 to 8.
Yeah, and that's very scary. And with the way, especially Tyler Anderson's been pitching, and we know what the Mets do versus righties, they don't do it against lefties. And if we think that Bassett is capable of slowing down this Dodgers offense, Matt Paulin says I could see the Mets getting swept in this series. Great to have AM back joining us again today. Mike M says
it does seem like a very Mets thing to do. People are excited, and including our boy Dommy Gunn. I know he is. 35-18 statement series here, potential NLCS preview, right? Everybody's talking like this could be your National League Championship Series, and everybody getting excited about the Mets in the start, and they get swept here this weekend by the Dodgers. It would be such a Mets thing to do.
It would be a Mets thing to do, without a doubt. Let's review our card here in a second, but let's hear what Jose Bouquett has to say about this card. He's back joining us again. Jose, my friend, you have a minus 360 on the board. I know that interests you very much.
Of course I'm taking it, guys. I mean, I don't know why you guys thought, oh, is he going to take it? Of course I am. I mean, I'm not going to, again, I thought about like writing down I thought about it. I did. I wrote down the numbers and everything. I've got them here. But do you think I give a fuck about those numbers? No. No, all the numbers are so much worse for the Pirates in the Pirates Cove over there in LA, and they could pull out the sweep. I mean, Garrett Cole loses to the Orioles when he was a minus 300 the other day. The Tigers are hot. I guess they're hot. You know, they get that dub last night. They cost me the first 5, but you get a win. By the way, I was wrapped up in a bunch of Celtics nonsense. I got fucking crushed last night in baseball. Crushed. And it was all heartbreakers, too. I had the under in your Pirates or Padres game or whatever. I had the Orioles money line. They lose in extra innings. It was truly tragic. But it's okay because we're on the plus 280 dog here. And I'm going to be right about the Celtics, and we'll talk about them here soon. And my disbelief, Jimmy, my disbelief in just everyone in the United States right now, everyone that picked the Warriors. So we'll talk about it soon. But I can't wait.
We will talk about. Is this the say hey play of the day? Then this is the one here.
Yeah, right. I truly am I'm like a third of the way through capping the card currently. But I mean, again, this doesn't take capping. This is not capping. This is a rule. This is a law. If you watch Say Hey plays, there are a few commandments that we go by. And this is commandment 2. Minus 300. No thanks.
And what are you going to do if the Tigers win? Are you going to?
If I go 4-0 against minus 300s, I mean, it's unbelievable. What can you? No, Jimmy, I can't possibly do that for the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know, they do that for me. I raise them up into a higher pedestal. But the Tigers, you know, we'll see. I can't possibly. I will be fading the Pirates today, unfortunately. But Jimmy, with the reason.
All right. Okay, let's review all action here on the MLB card. I've got an hour to bet the Cubs first 5, and I expect to do that. Bobano's on the over 7.5 in San Francisco, Miami. He's on the over 9.5 in Washington, Cincinnati, and the Nats first 5. Angels, Phillies, we are off. Bobano's on the Diamondbacks first 5 in full game, minus 115 and minus 114. That interests me a great deal. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do at this point. Wrong hole play of the day is the Cleveland Guardians on the run line. And I'm on the under 8.5 minus 105. I bet that last night, and I'm confident. And I get why the Guardians minus 1 is interesting. Bobano's on the first 5 minus a half for the Guardians in the full game. Say hey play of the day is the Tigers plus 291. Bobano's on the Blue Jays first 5 minus 1 and minus 122 in the full game minus 1.5 minus 108. And I'm just going to bet the Blue Jays every single day, no matter what. And here's the most juice I've taken in 10 years. Minus 171 on the minus 1 line. And I bet $50 more. It's not going to pay very much, but I just need to push if it's a 1-run game because there's been a few of them. The Rays first 5 minus a half and minus 130. Bobano and I are both on. Rays first 5 minus half. And the Rays team total over 3.5 minus 143 and over 7 minus 116. But so much money's on the Rays, and the market's moving slightly towards the White Sox makes me very nervous. I'm going to add the first 5 under 4 at minus 110 in Seattle, Texas. Bobano's on the Royals first 5 at plus 105. I want in. I may take the under 3.5 in San Diego, Milwaukee. I'm going to add the Rockies first 5 at plus 165. I feel that I must play it. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today's on the Red Sox. We've stayed off, and we stayed off of Mets. Dodgers. Spectacular work. Bobano is on the Lightning on the money line at minus 131. I'm on the Lightning minus 1 and the under 5.5. And the barbecue sauce did he play today is on the Red Sox A's over 7. And I'll lock that in. He's also on the Rangers money line. Bobano, my man, it is great to see you. Talk to us about what's coming up for you. You have NBA Pub Hub. Next one is on Sunday for the big game.
That is correct. The next one is going to be Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. It might be without me, though. We just found out that the Hamilton Bulldogs are playing Game 2 of their OHL Championship Series Sunday afternoon. And I'm not missing that game. So might be someone else. Someone might have to host for me on Sunday, but the show I think will go on now. So half the time when I'm not there, they just say we're not doing a show, but do a show, guys. It's an NBA Finals game, game 2. And I'll send a best bet. I will have a best bet for the show. I'll send it along. I'll make sure it gets mentioned on the show. And my props as well. I'll still send in my plays and all that for the show, but the show will go on Sunday. Probably minus yours truly, though. Hey, you guys, Dutch, come on, step up, ski, wham, come on, chance to host here. Put your hosting chops on. Let's go.
Let's get Jose with those milky shoulders up there.
Yep.
Let's get him hosting it. Great job, Bobano. You've been just simply spectacular, really, on this show. 38 and 25 in NHL, 60.3%. Plus 15.66 units, ROI plus 24.86%, average line plus 113. And it's that 60% that I really want you to stay above under any circumstance. I'm really wanting you to stay above 60. It's a very impressive number. In MLB, you're 32 and 27, 54.2% plus 3.22 units, ROI plus 5.4%, average line minus 104. And if you're sitting there going, well, those numbers aren't that good, it's very good. He started 1-9 and he turned it around in like 2 weeks. A volume better, not afraid to take shots, and that's what Bobano has done here. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us, my friend. I love these Fridays that we have, and we will talk soon. Sunday, NBA Pub Hub may not have Bobano there, but he is the host of that great show, and you will see a lot more of him on this channel. Bobano, thank you for your time. Any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
Just a great show as always. It's fun doing this on the Fridays with Jimmy the Bag on Betting with the Bag, NHL MLB. I always feel confident coming out of the show with the plays and with the card for the night. So good luck to everybody. Enjoy the NHL game 2 and all the MLB action.
One more thing, Bobano, next Friday, we're going to have a lot of CFL action that we'll be breaking down together on the show.
That's true. I can't wait. We're ready for that. We've done our work. We're ready. We know the teams, and let's see what we can find. Let's have another big CFL year, one of my favorite, most profitable sports, so I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely most profitable sports, and last year was glorious. 12-game winning streak. Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait to cap with you every Friday, so catch our CFL breakdowns here every Friday. Much love. Get that cash, Bobano, and thank you for joining us.
Awesome stuff. Have a good one.
We move on to NBA Game 2 here, and I want to discuss what we saw last night because it was wild and fun and sets us up for an incredible series. The most lopsided fourth quarter in NBA Finals history. That's what the Celtics did in the sacred grounds of an arena that had never lost a home playoff game. That's what the Celtics did. That's the toughness that they showed. Everybody said the Warriors couldn't lose at home, and I was on the Warriors in game 1, and the Celtics just showed kind of bulldogs that they are and set up this spectacular opportunity for a great series. Now, that's if the Warriors battle back here. What caught me the most was, from a gambling perspective, the pace at 93.50 possessions a game, and yet the game skyrockets to the over. That, to me, tells, with the Celtics shooting 51.2% from 3 and 42.2% from the Warriors from 3, that will regress to the mean and that the under will hit in game 2. It's still at 215.5, which was what it opened at. And remember that the total went up from 212 in the first game all the way up to 214. I do not expect them, and I expect the Warriors to play much tougher perimeter defense on the dangerous Celtics perimeter shooters. This spread got up to 4.5. It opened at 4, it went to 4.5. Now it's back at 4. So clearly Celtics money coming back in. I know this game is 48 hours away, but I just wanted you guys to know how I was attacking it and how I may move on the first half under as well. Right now, the over bettors are in fine form. 59% of tickets, 71% of the cash. And I think it's a mistake to expect these teams to shoot like they just did in game 1. I really do. We also have 30% of the tickets on the Celtics and just 11% of the cash. And we see a line move from 4.5 to 4. That makes me not want to bet the Warriors in this spot. Dennis Garcia says Steph has no help. Said podcast man is washed. Clay looks old. Looney can't finish. Light's too big for Poole. And Wiggins just running around, not scaring anyone, says Dennis Garcia. Wow. Eddie Euler says Celtics plus 3.5 was my best bet last night. We had Nasty Nate get a huge score. Astute Chaos is on the first half over 105 minus 109. Maybe that will keep me off of the doubling up here. So the Celtics just won a game where their best player was 3 for 17 from the field. The Celtics are 8-2 on the road in these playoffs. Everybody back in the Golden State Warriors should be shaking in their boots from what we just saw from the Boston Celtics. More on that. Let's bring in our Boston Celtics expert, Mr. Jose Bouquett, to the show.
Oh man, Jim. Oh man. I can't believe it. I'm gonna pull the Kobe Bryant ISO here, Jim, and I'll just cook here for a second, as the kids say.
Sure.
I cannot believe that. You shouldn't take the ESPN panel as gods, but everyone on that ESPN panel picked the Warriors. I saw so many cappers on the Warriors. This is not going to be a series. This is not going to be a series. I don't watch basketball often, but I'll tell you this. Aside from the hot shooting in the fourth quarter, fantastic. Great. The thing that I was more impressed with was the Celtics shutting down the Warriors, and that's what's going to happen every single game this series. Dennis Garcia said it basically perfectly here. And I've said it to everyone I've talked to on this series so far. Curry has no help. No one on the Warriors scares me at all. Klay Thompson is a shell of himself, and he is unfortunately overrated. Everyone loves him, but he can't do it anymore. What's he going to do on offense now? All he does is run around and shoot threes, and the Celtics have got that under control because he can't take it to the hoop anymore. No chance is he going to do anything. Draymond Green was featured more in the offense than I ever expected. Jim, I actually pulled up some stats. He went 2 of 12. 12 shots from Draymond Green. Oh, my God, please. Please. And who is he guarding? This is the perfect scenario for the Celtics. Who is he guarding? Al Horford? Al Horford, who just looked like Karl Anthony Towns? And if Al Horford is going to be guarded by Draymond Green, sure. Great. No problem. It's insanity. Jordan Poole is nothing. Jordan Poole is the sweat off my ass. Derek White will lock him up. Marcus Smart can lock him up. No worries there. Andrew Wiggins was the second best player on the Warriors, and he was just playing good defense on Jason Tatum, who had a terrible game. Is that going to happen again? I don't think so. And even if it did, they still won. This is going to be a 4 or 5 game series. I'm giving the Warriors a 1 game. They're the defending world champions. They can get hot. Curry can have one of those games. Whatever. Maybe they get 1. But Jimmy, I don't think this is a series at all. This is just a Celtics team that is just overpowering this Warriors team. And I don't want to be as confident as I am on this. It's actually scary how confident I am on this. Because, again, I don't watch basketball that much. But the Warriors are not a championship basketball team this year. They're just simply not. And it's crazy to me that everyone's loading up on the Warriors next game. This is not Oracle Center or whatever, the fucking Oracle Arena. This is not that anymore. This is the Chase Center. They priced out all the actual Warriors fans, the Oakland fans, the Vegas Raiders fans now. They priced all those guys out. Now you've got a bunch of corporate execs sitting on the front row, a bunch of yuppies on there. They don't can create a home court advantage. That's not the fucking TD Garden. You think the Celtics are scared of that? They just won in Game 7 in Miami and Milwaukee, 2 better teams than the Warriors? This is insanity. Insanity. And rant over.
There is going to be a 3.5 imminently. So the 4.5s have been snapped up. The 4s are about to be snapped up. And right now, the Warriors at -4 is -101 at Pinnacle, which means a 3.5 will be arriving here shortly. Would you like to make a say-hey play of the day on Game 2 here on Sunday?
Sure. And like I said, Max Swelly is saying this perfectly. I'm cursing the Celtics here. I'm so confident in the Celtics. It is scary. It is very scary. And Nasty Nate's with me as well. Trifecta guy. He's been there all year, all postseason. I mean, it's shocking. It is shocking to see that this Warriors team is being regarded as the Warriors teams that just won a championship title. They're not. It's just Steph Curry. That is it. It's the Mavericks, a little bit souped up version of the Mavericks with Luka Doncic and all those assortment of pieces. Klay Thompson's nothing. Draymond Green's nothing. Jordan Poole is sweat off my ass, like I've said. Nothing. This team not scary at all.
Would you like to make an official pick here?
Sure. Whatever
you want.
I'll take money line, no problem. I'll take the money line every single game in this series because this is going to be a 5-game series at the most. And Jim, you put something in my head that I hadn't even thought about. I have not been, well, that's a lie. I have been old enough, but I have not had enough money to ever even consider buying a plane ticket to go to Boston for a championship parade. I had not even, didn't even cross my mind. And I looked up the flights. They're hella expensive. But if this does become, if this is a 5-game or a 4-game sweep, Jimmy, and I'm right about all this stuff, I might have to just open the fucking purse strings and pull out the Pirates money and pull out the Pirates booty, as they say. And buy a plane ticket. I know no one in Boston. I would go there by myself.
What do you mean? Oh. You got Piker, you got Nasty Nate, we got Kyle Hintlian.
Exactly. I was going to say, I know no one except for those guys. I would be relying on them. Nasty Nate saying I'll be there with me. See, I would rely on my guy Nasty Nate then. I would for sure go there. I'd go there by myself, no problem. But if this happens, Jim, if this is a sweep or a 5-game series, I'll pull the fucking trigger. I will pay the $600 or whatever it is. I will feel the bankruptcy. I'll sleep on the side of the streets. Maybe I'll shack up with Nate. Who knows? But I'll be there.
Well, it was an extreme. I don't think you could have a more impressive victory here when your best player goes 3 for 17 from the field. The Warriors shoot 19 of 45 from 3, and you win the game. And
Curry has a great first quarter, too, and he just runs out of gas. It's going to be the same results every time, running out of gas. That's what the Warriors are going to do, run out of gas because they've got no fucking help for that guy.
Jose has moved on the Celtics at plus 151. I am on the under 115.5. Seeing astute chaos on the first half over makes me not want to move on the first half under. I'm not going to double up. So that's my bet. I bet it already, 115.5. I expect to beat this market move. But judging by the 59% tickets on the over and 71% cash on the over, that's what I wanted. Notice it hasn't moved with all that money coming in on the over. They're just sitting back saying, we'll take all of the over cash. What does Pinnacle have of that? Look at that. Pinnacle has a minus 107 to the under, minus 103 to the over. So I think unless overtime messes with me, I'm on the right side here. Eddie Oler says the Warriors have won every game after they've lost in the playoffs. We'll see if they do it against the bad Boston Celtics.
I'll respond to that real quick. The fucking Western Conference sucks ass, and they have not played anyone that is as good as the Celtics squad. Plain out facts. I think the Heat would have beaten this Warriors team. I think the Bucks would have dominated this Warriors team too. And this is just there's no one that the Warriors had played even close to this team. We saying the Mavericks? The Mavericks is one fucking player too, even close to the Celtics? No chance. Get out of here.
I love it. There he is, Jose Bouquett, our Boston Celtics expert, coming in with a look on the Celtics money line again. He has them to win the NBA Finals from a week and a half ago as an official play. He also took them to win the NBA Finals and Game 1 just yesterday. So it is time to move on to WNBA. We have the return of our man Teece, coming to us from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He gave us a winner on his first show here on Wednesday. Atlanta Dream first half -2.5, and he is back with a best bet for us right now. Just a little preview of his big show today at 4 p.m. Eastern. Please welcome back our man Teece in the house. Teece, what's happening?
Not much, Jimmy. I appreciate you having me on again. And I got to give a Jose. I love the performance, man. I love it.
Yes, he has. He's been on a really nice run. He's pumped up. He's fearless and pumped up right now. And winning will do that to you, make you fearless and pumped up. Let's get to work right now. We have a best bet from our man Teece. Now there's a 4-game card, and he's got. Do you have looks on all of these games, or is there some that you're still working on? I just mean for your show at 4 p.m.
Yeah, I'm still working on a few. This card came out and it was really tough. There was a couple spots that popped out at me, and but I haven't moved on anything except for what I'm gonna let everybody know today.
All right, so this is best bet here for the show. You are 1-0 on the show. You've been extremely impressive. For best bet WNBA, we go to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The Chicago Sky 5-3, 2-1 on the road at the Atlanta Dream. 6-3, 3-2 at home. We're at Gateway Center in College Park, Georgia. Chicago comes in off their third win in 4 games, 73-70 at home versus Phoenix on Tuesday night. The Dream coming off their second straight win, 84-76 at home over the Timberwolves on Wednesday night. And you hooked us up with the first half. You hooked us up with the first half -2.5 in that spot. And I said Timberwolves. I don't know if that is the Lynx. Thank you. I don't know. I barely slept last night. I was very, very pumped up off the 6-1 game in the winners in NHL, and I barely slept. It's just been such a glorious run here. I couldn't sleep. Thank you. The Lynx. I'm gonna have to work on some of these notes here. All right, let's take a look at the Sky Dream market movement here. We have the Sky opening up at -3. It drops to -2 at 8:46 this morning. And then there's a big move on the Chicago Sky over those next 2 hours. They are all the way up to 4.5-point favorites at Bet365. From a total perspective, it opened up at 156.5 and dropped to 155.5. Teece, how are we getting paid in Chicago Sky at Atlanta Dream?
Jimmy, don't feel bad as far as saying the Timberwolves. My first video I did on the Lynx, Timberwolves, the whole video. Didn't realize it. They posted on YouTube. I was like, But anyway, this game right here, if on the outside you're looking, wow, Chicago's just going to run these girls, but Chicago's been playing very, I guess. They haven't been playing up to their potential, and they've been not shooting well, and I think that's why we have that line. I actually saw the line open up at 2.5 last night, and I jumped on the first quarter. I took the Sky -1. I think you can get it 1.5 right now, and I'm taking that play because the Sky coming off of a loss, I think they need to come down in Atlanta and they need to, come out the gate fast. Now, the question that I have with the Sky, the reason why I haven't taken them full game or first half yet, and that's simple. That's Ryan Howard, not Ryan Howard, the Philly, Ryan Howard, the Atlanta Dream, #1 draft pick out of Kentucky. That girl is a beast. And until somebody can slow her down, it's just crazy. But Chicago has a lot of shooters, but the last game they combined with the Aces for 17% behind 3. So I can't trust their shot right now, but I do trust them to come out in Atlanta and come out strong. Now, what goes on the rest of the game? Anybody can tell. I mean, I couldn't tell you right now. Ski and I are going to break this game down later. So if you want to come out and watch my show at 4 p.m. Eastern, Ski and I will be on, and we'll get into all the games.
That minus or that first quarter is available at Bet365 here, -1 and -115.
Mm-hmm.
It's not available at Pinnacle. They're only giving the half and full game at Pinnacle. That at Pinnacle, they've moved this to -5 for this guy.
Wow.
So a big market move towards them. So, Teece, do we want to make the Sky first quarter -1 and -115 official play?
Yes. Yes.
All right, it is locked in. The Chicago Sky first quarter -1 at -115. Teece will be here for show number 2. I watched show number 1. It was great. Show number 2 here on Pub Sports Radio at 4 p.m. Eastern. We also have a show Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. There's 6 games on the Sunday card, so check that out. That Sunday show will be right after Jose's Say Hey Plays of the Day. And today's special guest is none other than Ski Profit for this breakdown. 4 games on the card tonight, so lots of action here. Max Swelly says, I put 500 on Teece's last bet. Gold, says our guy Max Swelly. I love it, and Teece loves it so much. Teece, thank you so much for joining us. Follow Teece on Twitter at Parlay Teece. Teece, do you have any last words for the Cappers supporting the show? And the Cappers are going to check you out here at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. First off, I love you guys. These shows are nothing without the chat, and I'd appreciate if you all come out. I don't care if you heckle me, whatever you want. Just come out. You get a chance to get some quality picks and make some money tonight. And Jimmy, I appreciate you having me on again today, and I look forward to having many more giving out many more wins on your show.
I look forward to it too. We do have a question from the chat that we'll close with here. Saturated says, Teece, how do you feel about the WNBA this year? Has it been volatile or as expected?
It's pretty much as expected to me. I mean, from the outside looking in, I could see how someone would say it's been volatile, but I've been following it for a few years, and it's pretty much been expected. We've had a couple surprises with the Fever and the Dream pulling wins out that have caught me off guard. And the Storm seem to be playing, they're not up to potential, just like the Sky aren't up to potential. But the Sky last year, they played 500 ball half the year, and then Candace Parker came back and they end up taking the chip. So,
are you surprised the Phoenix Mercury have started out so poorly?
I am actually, just because of the fact they're dedicating the season to Brittany Griner until they get her home. You guys have 1 win. What are you dedicating all these losses? I mean, I don't understand what's going on there. I know that when they went on the East Coast here, they were minus a couple players, but these players are back, and they were getting blown out of the gym by the Sky last game. Last game against the Sky. And I'm sorry, but when I was talking about the Sky earlier, I mentioned that their last game was against the Aces. It was against the Mercury. So. But Diana Taurasi, she ended up getting double technicals and getting thrown out of the game, and that lit a fire under the Mercury's ass, and they ended up covering the spread, losing by 3. So I kind of expect that to continue, and I'm hoping that locker room really, takes their dedication and starts using it on the court instead of just on the airwaves.
Chief has a question on your record thus far in WNBA. You've been spectacular. Where are you at right now?
I have to be honest with you. I won't tally everything up until Saturday. So I'm still 46-24 where, on my tally where I was when I came on the show the other day. But Sunday, when you guys tune in on Sunday, I will have my updated record for you.
But 46-24 as of Wednesday.
Yeah.
46-24.
Well, actually, as of Sunday.
As of last Sunday. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it, Teece. Get that cash. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us. Again, follow our man Teece at Parlay Teece and check out his show today at 4 p.m. Eastern alongside Ski Profit. Thank you so much for rolling with us, my man. Have a great show tonight and get that cash.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
There he is, Teece in the house, and that is our show. Let's review all action here, and let's keep rolling. We have the Cubbies playing in 31 minutes, and I expect to move on them first 5 here in 30 minutes. The game pops off. Let's just see if there's been any additional market moves. Yes, it's gone back to the Cardinals. So we still have a 10-cent move since the opening, but there's been a 5-cent move, and it happened 22 minutes ago. So let's just take one last look at the cash flow in this spot. Now 15,812 tickets in. And 18% of the tickets, 23% of the cash on the Cubs. That tells me this is a really good spot for the Cubs. If I'm afraid of their bullpen, that's fine. I take them first 5, and I will do that. So I'm going to move on the Cubs here when the show's over. Sorry for going to baseball right away. Let's talk NHL. Bobano's on the Lightning minus 131. I'm on the Lightning -1 at plus 130 and the under 5.5 at minus 120. Leroy Flood, thank you for the kind words, my man. Then let's go over to some looks from our cappers in the chat. Elliot V's on the under in the Mets game. The Red Sox -1.5. He's on the Cards money line, and he's on the under 5.5 with me on the Eastern Conference Finals. Dabby Cab is on team totals. He's on St. Louis team total over 3.5 at minus 130. Arizona team total over 3.5 minus 130. And the first 5 Cleveland Guardians -0.5 at even money. Razor Sharp Picks is locked in on the Cubs money line at minus 107. I'm going to add the Cubs first 5. Bobano's on the over 7.5 in San Francisco, Miami. Dommy Guns on the Cubs first 5 under 4.5 minus 115. The Mets first 5 under 4.5 minus 120. The Pirates over 8, and he's also on the New York Rangers under 5.5 with us. Bobano's on the over 9.5 in Washington, Cincinnati, and he's also on the Nats first 5 at plus 120. Angels, Phillies, we've stayed off. Bobano's on the D-backs first 5 at minus 115. Full game minus 114. I need to look at that more. Piker, after cashing his wrong hole, play of the day yesterday with the Boston Celtics plus 3.5. He's on the Cleveland Guardians minus 1.5. I'm on the under 8.5 at minus 105. That has since moved to 8. Bobano's on the first 5 -0.5 at plus 100 and the full game minus 144. And I wonder if I should also back the Guardians. I think I probably should add them on the -1. I'm going to look at that a little more. Say hey, play of the day. Detroit Tigers plus 291. The big balls Jose is growing over the last little while. Big old giant balls and making big bets accordingly. Blue Jays first 5 -1 at minus 122. Full game minus 1.5 minus 108 for Bobano. I'm on the -1 at minus 171. That's the most juice I bet in 10 years. We'll see if that blows up in my face. We'll see how that works. All I did was add $50 to it. It's not going to be a big payday, but I've been getting paid every day except for the off day by the Toronto Blue Jays. And thank you to Big Roo for giving me this dope spring training Jays hat. Rays first 5 -0.5 minus 130. I thought that was the best look on the entire card, but the markets moved slightly, the markets moved slightly to the White Sox, and all the money's on the Rays. That's a red flag and makes me very nervous. Very nervous. Bobano's on the Rays team total over 3.5 minus 143, and he's on the over 7 at minus 106. Julian Cesario, whose new movie Annie, the trailer has come out for it, and I'm going to fire it up here on Twitter. I meant to do it yesterday, but I'll do it here on Friday. It's a perfect day to do it. He's on the Cards money. Amy. Sorry, I said Annie. It's Amy, isn't it? A-I-M. It's Amy. Julian Cesario is on the Cards money line, Diamondbacks money line, and Guardians money line. Nasty Nate says, do you remember when Jose called it shooty hoops? I was never going to let him talk about basketball again. And now that you reminded me of it, I'm instantly angry. I'm instantly angered. I wish you hadn't brought that up. That's a sore spot for me. Hey, that's a sore spot for me. I'm adding the first 5 under minus 110 in Seattle, Texas. I'm adding the Royals first 5 at plus money. It's just plus 100 at bet 365. Bobano got it at plus 105. I may add the under 3.5 in San Diego, Milwaukee. That's going to need more study, but I'm moving on the Rockies first 5 at plus 165. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is the Boston Red Sox. Bobano and I stayed off of it. We've also stayed off of Mets, Dodgers. That is a wrap, baby. It's been a great week. God, we've made a lot of money this week. Feels so good. You know what's happened, Jose, is my palms haven't been leaking like they used to. Just because we're winning, there's no nerves. I'm just cool as a cumber cashing tickets, man.
Cool as a cumber, eh?
Yeah, man.
I heard that cool people abbreviate words, so I like that. Cumber.
All right.
I've heard that. But I also heard that cool people abbreviate sports names too.
Okay. Ever since Nasty Nate reminded me of you calling it shooty hoops, I've just becoming more and more enraged.
Well, I'm glad. I just got to get you fired up sometimes, And by the way, another shout out to Ragu. Ragu, I believe, also started the Blue Jay streak because all this started, I believe, when they started bomb squatting off of Otani.
Yeah.
So another shout out to Ragu.
Yeah, no, and he deserves it. He deserves it. Thank you guys for everything. We have no show without you guys. AJS, Real Deal Prime, AOD, Nasty Nate, Julian Cesario, Teece, Real Deal Prime, Max Swelly, Chief, Saturated.
Actually, I have one more announcement.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
I don't know if you've already said this. Maybe I didn't hear it. But the morning sesh, to remind everyone.
Yes, of
morning
course. I have
sesh,
not.
yes.
Do we have a thumbnail for it?
Yes. I'll show you guys graph one. Yes. But it's a little blurry. We need to fix it. But yes, there is one. It's lovely. I'll get it right now. But yes, morning sesh at 10 a.m. on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Dutch and Cab going to talk about just all things, maybe some capping in there as well. But it's going to be weed stuff, just a bunch of interesting things. I truthfully don't know what to expect from both of them. I don't know what we're going to get, but I'm excited to watch it. So shout out to them. The morning sesh at 10 a.m. Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays. There are our guys, Dabby Cap, 11 a.m. Eastern, so 10 a.m. Central. So that's how I operate. So yeah.
11 a.m. Eastern. That's fun. It's a fun new show. I like it. I like we're broadening our horizons. I like God. Now I can't get shoots out of my mind. I'm still enraged. Raven in the Desert, Bo Jackson, Matt Paulins, Eddie Euler. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Rodney Barton, AM, Dennis Garcia, Harold Williams. Let's get that money. Astute Chaos.
I can't believe Dutch is on the Warriors. I cannot believe it. I can't believe it.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Now the next game 3 is Wednesday and game 4 is Friday. So those are Durrell days. So we'll have Durrell back in action for those.
Durrell's on the Warriors too.
All 4 of them were on the Warriors, and so
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
They're going to be on the Warriors again. I cannot believe it. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing?
Thank you, Eric Romero. Let's get that money. Cuban Connect, thank you guys. Let's get to fucking paper, man. We've been winning and it feels so fucking good. Let's keep this cash coming in. We deserve it. We've earned it. We've worked for it. Now let's fucking take it. Leche. Hey, Los bookmakers, milk that shit.